Worst nightmare, boogeyman, big bad wolf, blow the house down. Look at that, oh no, little lamb, oh no, sycophant. Watch it all burn in the rear view, minivan. I'm a nightmare, let loose in the night air. Me and all of you need a base with a tight snare. Oh no, say a prayer, oh no, light a flare. Boogie till the time's up, spin it 'cause we don't care. Spin it. Spin it 'cause we don't care. Spin it.
What's up? How you doing? Update all titles.
Hope this song gets stuck in my ex-head. Brand new tune in the queue, this a cold red. Oh no, this a jam. Oh no, bring a friend. Everybody's body on the body in the end. I'ma drop bags on a brand new limousine. Iced out rims, big guns full of magazines. Oh no, guillotine. Oh no, drop a beat. Keep a tab going, this round's on me.
We must
Copy.
stop the terror. I call upon all nations to stop
And we need
these
to
terrorist
put
killers. Now watch this drive.
over here. All right. So we are also live on YouTube right now, I think.
Strange time we're living in panic and hysteria. Poor man learn, the rich man don't care for your narcissist mindset spread like malaria. Sit back and watch the show. America, Britain split through fickle shit. A government of hypocrites. These
Trademark Stingray. What's up, everybody?
in parliament, not adequate. Come on. Needlessly bleeding resources all dry. Turn a blind eye if it means a pay rise.
Oh, what a shame it would be, I would die.
If number 10 Downing Street burned in a fire. Only joking, only messing, don't be stressing. I'm a peaceful adolescent, there's no need to be unpleasant. Write my thesis in a rhyme scheme
Alright.
to analyze
Yeah,
the
we're
brain
good.
while my fingers on the trigger of a money
So,
game.
I have both of them going right now with Restream. I have both of them going. So now I just need to get something on screen for my chat. Not live on YouTube. What do you mean not live on? Is it private? Is it streaming as private on YouTube again? Why the fuck does it do that? No, it says it's streaming as public.
Money is a game,
Public,
and the ladder will
yeah.
climb.
Save.
Turn Satan to a sinner with his fingering crime. I'll break it down for you motherfuckers line by line. This is business economics in a nursery rhyme. She sells seashells on a seashore, but the value of these shells will fall due to
a
the laws
different-
of supply and demand. No one wants to buy
What?
shells because there's loads on the sand. Step one, must create a sense of scarcity. Shells will sell much
Why would it
better
be
if the
streaming
people
to
think they're
that?
rare, you see. Bear with me, take as many shells as you can find and hide them on an island. Stockpile
The
them
fuck?
high until they're rarer than a diamond. Step two, gotta make the people think that they want them, really fucking want them. Hit them like Bronson. Influencers, product placement, featured primetime entertainment. If you haven't got a show, then you're just a fucking waste, man. Free, it's monopoly. Invest inside some property. Start a corporation, make a logo, do it
Your
properly.
channel.
Shells must sell, that will be your
It
new
says
philosophy.
Shadows
Swallow all
live.
your morals, they're a poor man's
Says it
quality.
right here.
Expand,
Am I going
expand,
crazy?
forest, make land, fresh blood on
I'm
hands,
looking
fire.
at it.
Why
What is
just
this?
shells? Why limit
Hold on, let me
yourself?
show
She
my-
sells seashells, sell oil as well. 6 guns, sell stock, sell diamonds, sell rock,
So
sell
turn this down a
water
little
to
bit.
fish, sell the time to a
All right.
clock, sell
Look,
breast
hold on.
and the gas, take your foot off the brakes, then run
What's
to
this?
the president of the United States.
It's Seth Shadows
Make big wave, that's
live.
how the truth is
I'm
on
looking
the
at
way,
me.
no lies out the gate, nine. Polarize the people, controversy is the game. It don't matter if they hate you, if they all say your name.
What the fuck?
The world is yours. Step out on the stage to a round of applause. You're a liar.
I'm
a cheat,
confused.
devil, a whore, and you sell seashells on the seashore. Rain, 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 rain. A stormy and no surprise to distorted lies. Poison in the veins, but without the point of blame. It's easier to blame.
Well, what if I like open? I don't get it. I can't find its session. Really? Shows live for me. What if you go to the link tree? Go to my link tree. Cycling, what's up? Links. YouTube. I'm looking this as logged in. So that. Yeah, it says it. What's up, musical? Cycling? Hello, everyone. Okay. I think we might be good. I think we're good. Maybe. Now let me just see if I can get. Compact mode. Bed in stream. How do I do that? Embed chat. Copy. Let's open this in a browser. So if I do that, then if I make a new, let's see, browser source, new stream chat. Okay. Why is that not see-through? Oh my good God, what? Yeah, that's not how we're gonna have that. I'm gonna have to figure out how to get the chat part working in a bit. All right, we'll get the chat part working so you can see the other chats from YouTube to Twitch and Twitch to YouTube, like on the screen at some point or something. Not gonna fuck with it right now, I guess, because I have no idea. No idea right this second. You ready to garden every 5 minutes? I'm always ready to garden every 5 minutes. How's the stream coming through on YouTube, by the way, if anyone is over there? I don't know if anyone's even over there. It might be like more behind or something. I don't know. What a hell of a plane to fly. Cheers, everybody. Hemingway, cheers. Thunder Chick, cheers. A little delay, cheers. About a 20-second delay. Holy shit, that's on ultra low latency mode, by the way. Let me be clear, that is on ultra low latency mode. So you might want to like refresh. I don't know. All right. Welcome in, Emily. How you doing? How you doing? My phone, 2 different devices. All right, so we ready? We ready for this? This is gonna be miserable, I think. I think it's gonna be miserable. Okay. Here we go. Oops. Wanted to be fast forwarding, not increasing the volume.
To observe. This is our annual FBI oversight hearing. We meet today in the aftermath of the political assassination of Charlie Kirk, a school shooting, and the senseless murder of Ukrainian refugees, and also to remember several weeks ago the killings in Minnesota. Charlie Kirk was a man of God, faith, family, and country. I pray for his wife, Erica, children,
No, Matt's
the
video.
whole family.
That was
God
doing
bless
well.
you, Charlie Kirk. I've asked Director Patel for an update today on this matter. As we proceed with the hearing, Director Patel, I'd like to note that you've agreed
Did he call him
to
doctor?
one 10-minute round of questioning. Dr. Patel, Director Patel, I'd like to know.
Chuck Grassley has no idea where he is.
To one 10-minute round of questioning.
He has no fucking idea where he is.
Agreed to. When Director Ray appeared before this committee, he left early to go on a family vacation, and he wanted me to think it was business he had to conduct. Since your confirmation, you've been acquainted with the bureaucracy that you must reform and hold accountable. And that's no simple task. You've begun the important work of returning the FBI to its law enforcement mission. According to
Yeah, JD's
the
vacationing all the
FBI,
time.
since January 20th of this year, the FBI has been involved in the arrest of more than 23,000 violent criminals. This year, the FBI assisted in the arrest of more than 1,500 child predators and 300 human traffickers. And this year, the FBI helped rescue more than 4,000 children from predators. FBI teams nationwide are working alongside immigration and custom enforcement. This teamwork has resulted in the arrest and removal.
I feel like they're
of
talking about the numbers for
historic
like
number
missing
of
children
violent
found that were
criminal
just not
aliens,
going to court
gang members, and
for,
child sex offenders.
undocumented status.
Those are overwhelming better records than at least 2 of your past predecessors. During the Ray era at the FBI, the Bureau reallocated resources from child crimes to January 6 work. Director Patel, you've also moved agents from headquarters to field offices to better align with their law enforcement
Yeah, I'm about to go to
mission.
where they start with questions.
Under your leadership, found out that Biden
Yeah, we skipped to where he's talking about Joe Biden.
way whether it's done by Republicans or Democrats. Last time,
Chuck, how long do you go
and
for?
potential
Oh my God, Chuck.
have been removed. A whistleblower, which brings me to an agreement and monetary another cross government to their
This is
retaliation.
ridiculous.
Claim the Biden administration
Oh my goodness.
weaponized the FBI. President Biden retained Director Wray,
This isn't going to be a question yet either.
lifelong Republican who was President Trump's nominee. Came to the of the conformings of the president. He attacked the FBI with a vengeance. Mr. Patel had falsely
Okay.
I've sought greater transparency about
That was all just their introductions back and forth, what they had written down and stuff.
Jeffrey
I
Epstein.
want to get to the question
and
portion.
the government handling of the matter.
Let's
I've
put on
continued to
captions.
investigate
Cannot. There's no
during this
captions.
Congress. Director Patel, was Jeffrey Epstein an intelligence asset for the United States government or the foreign government? And if so, which agencies or governments?
Mr. Chairman, I can only speak to the FBI as the director of the FBI, and Mr. Epstein was not a source for the FBI.
Would you
Good God.
commit to providing my office with all classified, non-classified records relating to the Epstein matter?
I will commit to providing all records I'm legally permitted to do so under the court orders.
How specific?
It seems to me that I accept your answer to my
It
question.
seems
but the
to me
broader
I
intelligence
accept
community
your
ought to
answer. I
answer
couldn't
these
hear you, but-
questions as well. Victims deserve an answer. Regarding the initial FBI
I'm waiting for Chuck to get up,
1023
walk around, and then
document
just
that I
sit in
made
front
public
of
last
Kash Patel to speak
Congress.
with him close.
That document mentioned 1, text messages, 2, audio recordings, and 3, financial records that allegedly proved a bribery scheme with the Biden family and foreign interests. Regarding those records, did the Ray FBI make any effort to determine
Yeah,
whether
he
they
does
existed?
sound. He is
Did the
stereotypical old person
Ray
talking.
FBI make any effort to obtain those records?
Not to my knowledge, Mr. Chairman.
Since this matter hasn't been fully investigated, the FBI has an obligation to the public to do exactly that and figure out why it wasn't investigated. Next question. I've done a lot of oversight relating to sexual misconduct by the FBI agents. In fact, I believe this is something I discussed with Ray, one of his appearances before this committee. According to the FBI Inspection Division, it opened nearly 300 investigations based on sexual misconduct referrals between
Yeah, it
2017
seems to
and
me that I accept your
2024.
answer is ridiculous.
According to whistleblowers of Biden Ray, FBI totally dropped the ball
Fucking-
on this
yeah,
question.
Joe Biden.
One credible accusation of sexual misconduct is too many, of course. Are you committed to reviewing the Bureau's policies to ensure responsible responses to credible allegations of misconduct, that they're swift and adequately protect victims?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Relating to a similar subject, during child crimes and sexual misconduct related investigations.
reading him off
are
yes or
any
no
private
questions.
sector companies less than cooperative with you? What improvements in information sharing need to be made to catch those criminals?
Mr. Chairman, we can always do better with our private sector companies. I've reached out to the leaders of most of them, asking them to provide more material so that we can be responsive and take legal action and protect the youth of this country. I'm happy to discuss, possible legislation that we can do to allow for these companies to continue.
Yeah. Say, maybe 1 inch up on the microphone.
Sorry.
Not, I think you're close enough, but I think it's just a little bit lower. When you raise your head, it's,
Remember when I jokingly said that he cannot hear Kash Patel? Remember when I jokingly commented that he can't hear him? He's like, what? I can't hear you. Fix your microphone.
difficult to hear. Director Patel, since 2021, I've raised concerns about the Biden administration failure to properly vet Afghan evacuees. Director Gabbard informed my office that as of August 2022, approximately 1,600 evacuees.
Give this man a
located
hearing
in
aid,
the United
seriously.
States had ties to terrorism and other derogatory
insurance must not cover it.
information That's why I and many others have opposed bills giving blanket approval. Are you aware of what steps your
Wait.
predecessor took to investigate these evacuees? And what steps have you taken to investigate them? And what, if any, national security concerns still exist?
Mr. Chairman, I can't speak to the
Yeah,
steps my
this fucking this man is actively swimming in his suit. It looks like there are like it's like 3 raccoons in a trench coat or something. I don't know what the hell. Dude, look how like he's got shoulder pads and it's all bunched up like he's on the hanger.
predecessor took, but I will make sure we do a sweeping review and get back to you on
Apparently
that.
13.
As far as the
13? I thought it was
refugees
8 last
and
I heard.
evacuees, as during my tenure, we are going through the databases to make sure that no known or suspected terrorists enter this country to harm our nation. And also, is my resolve as FBI director, one of the first acts we undertook was a manhunt of one of the Abbey Gate bombers and leaders in that crime spree that killed
There's been
13
2.
brave
Oh my
Americans.
fuck,
And within
Jesus
2 weeks,
Christ.
we caught one of the leaders of the Abbey Gate bomber and brought him to justice here in 2 weeks from Pakistan. And so my commitment to you on Afghanistan in all matters is complete and without border.
Through my and other investigations, we found that the Biden administration lost thousands of undocumented children. We never heard
They
a
didn't
peep
lose them.
from senators wanting
From-
to help find them, even after I invited them to do so. In September 2025, the Trump Health and Human Services announced the creation of an interagency crime coordinator cell to find these and other missing children. That interagency group reportedly includes your agency. What resources and personnel have the FBI
He's like, these are the questions that were written out for me.
assigned to this new interagency effort, and what steps have the FBI taken to assist in locating missing children that the incompetent Biden administration lost?
Protecting our youth is maybe the top priority for the FBI. As it specifically relates to your question, Mr. Chairman, as I stated, we've surged resources not just to this cell, but across the nation to our FBI's field office to locate children who have been trafficked, who have been victims of sexual abuse. And we have located 4,700 children in the 7 months since I've been FBI director. And that is a 35% increase from the same time period last year. And we're not stopping, and we're committed to doing that work on our tribal lands as well.
There we go.
And we are finding victims of child trafficking and child abuse every county and every district, and we're not going to stop.
Okay. As I mentioned during my opening, I'm releasing documents with Senator Johnson about Arctic frost. Specifically, the documents show its scope expanded to include 92 Republican organizations. From evidence that I've seen, it looks to me like another political hit job against Republicans. What steps has the FBI taken to make sure improperly predicated investigations and weaponizations like this don't happen again?
Everything's against the Republicans.
Simple answer,
huh?
Mr. Chairman, is the FBI will only bring cases that are based in fact and law and have a legal basis to do so. And anyone that does otherwise will not be employed at the FBI. We are doing a prospective and retrospective analyses of individuals who may have weaponized the department and the agency. And as I've committed to you during my confirmation hearing and my conversations with you, this FBI will not be weaponized anymore in either side of the aisle.
In June of this year, I raised concerns about the FBI's use of restricted access and prohibited access systems. According to the FBI, quote, when search teams that exist in
Can't
a
even read off
prohibited,
the fucking quote.
access status cases are searched in Sentinel, the particular search will receive
Getting lost in the middle of it.
negative Sentinel search response, end of quote. Clearly, this is not only affects FBI agents, it impacts congressional requests and court cases, and the Biden administration used it to thwart oversight. How are you ensuring that restricted access and prohibited access files are produced to Congress during court cases And have you identified any Biden family records in restricted and prohibited status?
As I've committed to you with my transparency initiative, whether it's restrictive or prohibited, every single thing we can legally provide to Congress, we will. We've also restructured how these restrictive and prohibited cases are labeled and provided access to more people in the chain of command so that more people have knowledge of what these restricted and prohibited
that's
cases
like
are,
all of them, though.
including myself and the deputy.
Do you commit to providing any records that are available?
I do, sir.
You publicly said that your team, quote, found a room that Comey and others hid from the world in the Hoover building full of documents and computer hard drives no one had ever seen or heard of.
And we don't think this is
That's
fucking
a
crazy.
quote from you. I've received a whistleblower disclosure that the room contained some information kept outside the FBI record keeping. I also have been informed via a whistleblower disclosure that the room included materials related to Special Counsel Mueller, former Director James Comey, and other documents maintained outside of the FBI. Has the FBI now reviewed and analyzed those records? Has the FBI properly recorded the documents? And these records are clearly responsive to my, as well as my colleagues' congressional requests. What steps have you taken to ensure all responsive records are produced to Congress? That's what has to be my last question.
This
What's
man
supposed
seems
to
like he has a
happen is
limited number of
leadership at
words
the
left,
FBI
and he
is
used
supposed
most
to
of them
pursuant
just
to the
now.
Records Act, correctly store these records at our Information Management Division, IMD. In this room, we found a plethora of hard drives, computers, hard documents, soft documents that were not so recorded, a voluminous amount of information. So we are continuously processing that information. So A, we subscribe to the Records Act and commit that those records will be kept permanently at the FBI. 2, we are reviewing those materials. A lot of those materials are related to ongoing investigations. And 3, we are on a rolling basis providing Congress the documents that we can, and we will continue to do so.
Okay, thank you very much, Senator Durbin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Director Patel, in addition to the extensive purge of nonpartisan career FBI official reports indicate that dozens of remaining officials have been subjected to polygraph exams to test their loyalty. My understanding is that approximately 40 officials have been asked to sit for a polygraph during your administration.
Yeah,
and
that's
several have been
wild.
asked whether they have ever made negative comments about
Polygraphs aren't even like
Director Patel,
admissible in
FBI
court, and
agents
they're
pledge
fucking
their loyalty
trying
to the
FBI agents
Constitution
to
of the
check their
United States,
political
not
alliance.
you personally. What is the basis for requiring polygraph exams of your workforce and asking them if they've made negative comments about you?
I don't know what reports you're referring to, Ranking Member, and I reject any reporting that has false information in it, so I'm not going to respond to that. As far as
Oh, so you mean like
polygraphs
any of
go,
your
generally
reports or
they're
tweets?
always have been utilized at the FBI to track down those that leak sensitive information and have unauthorized disclosures to the media, and we will continue to use them to ensure the integrity of the FBI.
Did any individual on your senior executive team, the director's advisory team, or who serve in the positions on the 7th floor receive disqualifying alerts on their polygraphs?
Senator, I'm not going to get into the personnel discussions that were had on a polygraph. Those are private discussions, and many of them relate to ongoing investigations.
Did you or Attorney General Bondi provide any individual with a waiver so they could remain employed after they received disqualifying alerts on their polygraphs?
I'll have to get back to you.
You don't remember that?
No, sir. My priority is protecting the American public, not getting into the weeds of polygraphs.
And to have a decent memory when you come before a committee.
I'm happy to talk about all the good work the men and women of the FBI are doing,
God.
including provided the
What
lowest
a big
crime rate in
surprise.
American history.
I got no
If you want
idea.
to talk about how to protect the
Ah,
citizens
it just so
of
happens I have no
Chicago,
idea.
Has seen a 30% reduction in its murder rate because of the men and women of the
And you
FBI.
take credit for
I'll
that?
happily do that.
You
The
take credit?
interagency partners and the men and women of the Chicago PD have never been more
Include
powerful.
local law enforcement, please.
Have you ever seen my testimony across this country where I always lead with our interagency partnerships with state and local law enforcement? It is the pillar of what I am doing. And on the 7th floor, for the first time time in FBI history, I have installed police officers and sheriffs right on my 7th floor to report to us every day what's going around the country on the street level, because that is a priority of the FBI and is the only way we are going to work. I don't take credit for anything, but I will defend the men and women of the FBI and the cops that help us get it done.
You should. Director Patel, to your
I
knowledge, did a
enabled something
whistleblower
on
ever make a
Restream. Is anyone able to go over to the
disclosure
YouTube and
Attorney
type
General
something?
Bondi indicating that the New York
It should
Freedom
have a
Office
bot like
was
come through
withholding
and
Epstein-related records?
I'm not
say it in the
familiar
other
with that
chat
whistleblower.
or something. I think.
You know that there was such a whistleblower?
I'm not familiar with that whistleblower.
In response to the blowback she received, Attorney General Bondi also pushed the FBI to review approximately 100,000 Epstein-related records on an arbitrarily short deadline in March, and the FBI was directed to flag any documents that mentioned President Trump. Nothing came of that review until July, when DOJ and FBI released an unsigned memorandum stating there is no incriminating
Hey, look at
client
that.
list. Why was this July 7th memorandum unsigned?
Cool. Thank you.
Would you prefer I've used AutoPen?
Oh my God! Wow,
Why
how
was it on
The
sarcastic.
memorandum had the insignia of the Department of Justice and the Federal Bureau of Investigation.
Would you prefer I
And in our
use an
effort to secure
AutoPen?
transparency for the American
No, I would
people,
prefer you
because
just,
the 3
like,
prior administrations had not done so. We
fucking do
conducted
your
an
job.
exhaustive search of everything related to the Epstein cases, and we produced what was legally and permissibly able to be produced to Congress and the American public.
So
And
did
there's
you
a congressional
did you-
subpoena, and we're continuing to do
You
so.
personally direct that investigation so that you would sign such a,
Did I personally direct what
Works the other way
investigation?
too. Awesome.
of the Epstein
you.
records for any reference to President Trump?
Again, you are citing reporting that I think is baseless. We conducted an investigation of the Epstein case files pursuant to the direction of the President of the administration to provide all credible information, and we are working with Congress pursuant to a congressional subpoena to turn over all the documents we can. All
at-
individuals.
Who
were
at
cited.
DOJ and FBI was responsible for its drafting and conclusions?
Many individuals at the Department of Justice and the FBI are
There was
responsible.
no lead person?
The Attorney General leads the Department of Justice, and I lead the FBI.
So the Attorney General was responsible for that?
The Attorney General leads the Department of Justice.
Director Patel, much like you, Deputy Director Dan Bongino was a conspiracy theorist who built a lucrative career making inflammatory and unsubstantiated statements about the FBI that would be disqualifying in any administration that cared about nonpartisan law enforcement. For instance, Mr. Bongino called the placement of pipe bombs outside the DNC and RNC headquarters on January 6, quote, an inside job, and went on to say, this was a setup. I have zero doubt, and whoever goes into the FBI, you better get an answer about why. Director Patel, you and Deputy Director Bongino are now leading the FBI. What is
And
the
so where's the
evidence to
info?
suggest the pipe bombs placed outside of the DNC and RNC on January 6 were an inside job?
I
We
appreciate
haven't
the
actually had a
opportunity to
chance
discuss
to look
Director
into
Bongino's line of
anything
record.
pertaining
So many on
to.
this committee and the media jettison our 31 years of public service
Can
prior
you
to
answer the
taking.
question, sir?
I'm answering the question.
No, you're not.
You're questioning the integrity of the deputy director of the
Asking
FBI
you
and
if
mine.
you found
And
any
I'm going to
evidence.
answer the question.
I'm
The pipe
asking-
bomb investigation is ongoing, and I'm not going to discuss
Ongoing?
the details
Nothing.
of the pipe bomb investigation.
He's just-
Mr. Bongino
just say
was a Secret Service
nothing,
agent
dude.
For 15 years, a police
Just
officer
say
for
that
5.
you've got
I served this
nothing.
country in multiple
Haven't
administrations
even
for
looked into it.
16 years.
It was
We
all
were also
bullshit.
private citizens, and we are now back in government service. And what we have the ability to do is set aside our personal
This dude's
beliefs to
tie's
deliver the
barely
mission of
even on.
justice for this country, and we're doing
Needs
it
to
day
tighten
in
it
and
up.
day out. And I find it disgusting that everyone and anyone would jettison our 31 years of combined experience that is now at the helm of the FBI, delivering historic results at historic speeds for the American people.
So you have no evidence?
I got a lot of evidence, and I'll give it to you when I can.
Never.
Looking forward to it.
Well, I
There's
can't.
a New
Why?
York Times
God
story this
damn.
morning about Chris Meyer. As I understand it, he was your personal pilot, at least for some period of time. Mr. Meyer has quite a record himself. Flew over 350 hours as an Air Force pilot on 3 aircraft types in Afghanistan. Mr. Jardina, another former FBI agent, a 1999 graduate of U.S. Naval Academy, commanded 100 Marines in combat during the 2003 invasion of Iraq, participated in several firefights, followed up with 2011 deployment as reservist to Afghanistan, where he interrogated senior Taliban officials. It appears that you terminated these 2 agents. Why?
I'm not going to get into personnel decisions that we made.
The boss, baby.
So you're not accountable for your decisions to take people who've served our country so admirably and terminate them without any cause.
That's a
I'll tell you
one-sided
that.
story. Anyone that has
Well,
been
then
terminated from
so
the
tell
FBI,
your-
generally
tell your side
speaking,
of the story.
fail to meet
Generally
the needs
speaking.
of the FBI and uphold their constitutional duties. And you providing a one-sided story from your perch is absolutely disgraceful because the men and women of the FBI deserve
Where's
better.
your side of
and
the
your
story?
attack on the current leadership of the men and women of the FBI is equally disgraceful because now
Listen to
you're attacking
him
the
just
leaders that
whine
are
like a
brave
fucking
SACs in the
baby.
Let me tell you
field
what's
who are
disgraceful.
doing the job that this
Disgraceful.
country needs.
Cash
And
Patel
we will
cast
continue to
whine
do
like
it.
a baby.
Excuse me, it's disgraceful when Mr. Meyer and Mr. Jardina, who served our country so well, are terminated apparently because of the rants of a broadcaster.
That is your
Combo
opinion, it is not
started.
fact.
Oh my goodness.
Certainly, by opinion,
Thank
I
you
can
so
back up
much,
this fact.
Emily.
Let me ask you to
Thank
explain
you.
the situation in Baltimore, if you will. Did you read the story about the termination of the project in Baltimore?
There was even like little things on screen for that.
764 Group,
Sorry.
That was cool.
Which story?
764 Group.
It was over like the
Baltimore
text.
Agents were investigating. Are you familiar with that?
No, sir.
Well, I'm not going to go into detail. It would take too long to do it. But apparently that this group, 764, a nihilistic, violent extremist group, seeks to blackmail children to perform vile acts on a camera under investigation by Baltimore, which was terminated by you. I'd like you
Oh
to
my God, he terminated
respond in
that?
writing, if you will, as to the circumstances of that termination.
Sure. Our operations against NVEs, as you're referring to, has been historically high, and we've taken down
Hey, boyo,
multiple
what's up?
NVE rings, including 764 rings, who are harming children and causing them to be mutilated and
Last
commit
question,
suicide.
can you explain why you are eliminating the requirements for a college degree for your agents?
I appreciate the opportunity to
They're
address that.
eliminating?
You said in your opening statement, we are reducing the training requirements at Quantico. We are not. We are expanding them. You are referring to an 1811 crossover program because I believe the men and women of places like the DEA, the ATF, and the Marshal Service and the Secret Service who want to work at the FBI should deserve that opportunity in a shortened, abridged program, which we provided. We are also keeping the 18-week BFTC as is traditionally being held at the FBI. So we're not reducing any requirements. We are increasing those that we bring into the
Did you
FBI.
change any of the requirements on college degrees?
We are allowing police officers who have served
We are allowing.
for a number of years.
Dude, police officers are fucking morons. You don't want these guys being in the FBI. They're dumb as shit. They're so stupid. Like one of the. I don't even. We can't have that.
come into the FBI who did not obtain the requisite college degree to apply to be federal agents because we feel they have the street level experience we need to conduct any requirements. We are increasing those that we bring into the
Did you change
FBI.
any of the requirements on college?
Any requirements. We are increasing.
Hold on. I'm gonna get some like clips from this. Copy that.
Those that we bring into the
Did you change
FBI.
any of the requirements on college degrees?
We are allowing police officers who have served for a number of years to come into the FBI who did not obtain the requisite college degree to apply to be federal agents because we feel they have the street level experience we need to conduct this mission.
I yield, Mr. Chairman.
I have to respond to this business about you not treating employees properly because I served under the previous administration when Democrats willingly turned a blind eye to Biden administration retaliation against my whistleblowers.
It's the first clip we got saved. Jesus
they
Christ.
didn't get due process when their careers and lives were upended. I'm talking about people like Dina Perkins, Jeffrey Veltri, Timothy Dunnan were removed from their positions. Several whistleblowers were reported that they targeted FBI employees for their political beliefs by suspending and revoking security clearances. One
Studies
FBI
and
whistleblower said that
justice
Perkins,
studies to even
Veltri,
become a
Dunnan,
field
and
office
other
agent. Oh
FBI
my God.
leaderships were, quote, responsible for what happened to me and my family.
It does sound like his
ensuring
dentures are gonna
they no
fall
longer
out, yeah.
work. But the FBI isn't retribution, it's responsible leadership. Another whistleblower that is a registered Democrat said they spoke out against abuses in security clearances processes committed by FBI senior leaders, particularly Veltri and
Every time he stops talking, it sounds like he's out of air and needs to be like refilled before continuing.
Perkins.
He sounds like he's
And Veltri
leaking these
and
words out.
Perkins and Dunn suspended their security clearances and put them in unpaid leave. I'm going to put some more examples like this in the record so I don't take up a lot of time for my colleagues.
Double major criminology and writing. Yeah, how was
Thanks,
that?
Senator. Welcome to the committee. The numbers sort of speak for themselves. You've done a lot in a small period of time. So all those folks out there making these
Yeah, his lungs have
thank them
10%
from me.
capacity max.
As to how to be an FBI agent, you've made a decision that local law enforcement folks, people who've served in law enforcement without a college degree are able to apply now. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's
Makes sense to me. So experience out in the field might be as valuable as a college degree.
dude. Just go. Makes sense to me. Wait, hold on a second. It'll also be prior serving police officers, I'm sure. So how many people on the hold on. How many people on that old list, right? The old list of police officers who had done some sort of prior abuse, that list got wiped federally. That list got wiped. Now, how many of these people do you think are going to state that they are prior police officers, do not have a college degree? Obviously, they can't be police officers in their area again. Then they apply for the FBI.
Believe it or not. Venezuela. We're blowing boats
Jamie,
out
what's
of
up?
the water in the Caribbean.
Is he laughing about
because they're
that?
connected to international narco-terrorist groups. Is that correct?
Yes, that mission is being led by the Department of Defense, sir.
Okay. What legal
You mean the Department of War?
authority do we have to do that?
Sir, I would defer the questions on legal authority to the Attorney General and the department.
Fair enough. Do you believe that Maduro
watch Don
runs a
Lemon. Oh, what did he say?
narco-terrorism state in Venezuela based on
I believe based on the intelligence and prosecutions and investigations we are currently running, a large portion of the cocaine that exits out of South America, its origination point is in Venezuela, and using transshipment points through Haiti, they're using the navigable waterways in the Caribbean to the end state delivery, which is the United States of America.
Listen to how many extra fucking words he used there to like say we're kind of thinking maybe, but we're gonna say yes anyway.
And we will hunt down every single one of those narco traffickers with
and
the
then
authorities.
there's
we
some
have.
actual indictments of Maduro as an individual for being involved in that. Is that correct?
Senator, I think you're referring to the DEA indictment on that one.
Right. So I guess the point is,
What is the
would it be
point of
fair
these
to say
questions?
that Venezuela is a good candidate to be labeled as a state sponsor of terrorism under U.S. law?
Senator, from my perch, we will provide the intelligence necessary for anyone who meets the threshold to be a state sponsor of terrorism, and this administration has
I
expanded
think they are, so we'll be going down that road. China, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being nothing, 10 being great, how is China helping with the fentanyl problem here in the United States?
Under this administration, we have taken, as I highlighted the Cincinnati case, the precursors are the problem. The
We are in for a treat of just the dumbest fucking questions that they could possibly think of from the Republicans, huh?
fentanyl is the end state that kills American
Well,
citizens.
the precursors are made in China, right?
They're made in China. And so for the first time in a decade, I had a call with my
Yeah, that's what I was saying. They federally got rid of the database for that. So I'm assuming they're all going to still have like I was a prior law enforcement officer. I didn't have college experience. Let me in the FBI now. And they're just going to be like, come on in.
The precursor chemical companies and have those chemicals
Is it
labeled.
too early to rate the success?
We have indicted multiple businesses in China. We've also cut off the transshipment points of those precursors. They switched. Once we got on their track about their delivery routes to the Mexican drug cartels directly, they started going to India. We called the Indian authorities and they shut down those transshipment points. So we're continuing to work with our
So
partners
China
overseas.
is helping, would you say?
They are starting to help, and we are hoping under this administration's leadership we can get more
Let
of
me
their help.
know
Is he
you know, in the
implying that
coming
India
months,
is
that
smuggling in
continues, 'cause
drugs
if
now? What is
they
he
are helping,
saying?
that's a good thing.
Yes,
I think
sir.
we need to celebrate the breakthrough. If they're not, that would be a bad thing. So after the assassination of Charlie Kirk, there seems to be one refrain from everybody, and that's about the effect of social media. Do you believe that social media is one of the instruments radicalizing America and inciting violence?
Well,
This is where you
it's
quit
not-
watching.
My belief is based on the data, and the data shows that social media is wildly out of control when it comes to
You're
radicalizing.
dead right. So what did you just say? This guy's the FBI director.
He also on the stand just the other day said, "I'll see you in Valhalla, brother."
He says that social media is wildly out of control. Now, free speech.
You led the question, you fucking idiot. You also led him. You asked if it was, and he said, "I think it's
I'll agree with that,
radicalizing
but you
people."
can't yell fire in the theater, right?
Which who the fuck is
Free
he to
speech
say?
doesn't allow you to go online and groom a child for sexual.
What
No, it
the
doesn't.
fuck?
Okay, free
That what does he think free speech?
speech doesn't allow you to go on the internet and basically incite somebody to kill another person, right?
Absolutely not.
So if it's illegal offline, it should be illegal online. Agreed? Whatever the law is.
Yes, sir. We
Just
had a-
because you're online doesn't give you a get out of jail free card.
No, sir.
So if a parent is worried about a child being bullied on a website, what rights do they have under U.S. law?
We have to balance the rights, as you said, Senator, of free speech versus those that encroach
Is there
upon
any
violence.
law that can shut down one of these sites for bullying children or allowing sexual predators on the site?
We are able to attack certain sites on the dark web. When it comes to the open internet infrastructure system, we have to reach a threshold to attack a company's position that only subscribes to violence.
Can the parents sue that company?
They can.
Cash,
They
do you not know what the fuck you're talking about? This guy is showing that he has no knowledge of what the fuck is going on, even kind of. This is wild. He's trying to say that the government can't even look into, like, illicit videos of children on websites. What the fuck is he trying to say?
They can sue not the
That's
social
not
media
correct.
companies.
That's what I'm talking about.
They can sue the companies.
I'm
If you're talking
talking about
about just free speech things, then we're somewhere different.
social media company that gives lives to this behavior.
No, you're referring to Section 230, sir.
Would you advocate a sunsetting of Section 230 to bring more liability to the companies who send this stuff out?
I've advocated for that for years.
All right. We need to do this, folks.
Oh my God.
These companies are taking content that it makes you sick, that could get you killed, get you poisoned.
Yeah, when he was talking
There's
about the
nothing
different teams
we
that he
can do
sent,
about it
I was like, what, is he
under
going
our
to bring
law.
the fucking
A
IRS
person
as
can do
well?
about it because
We're going to
Section
bring in
230.
like the
So if your
secretary or something to just
child
check
is
out the
being
crime
sexually
scene and
groomed online
like what?
or bullied online, and you go to the social media company and ask them to take it down, they refuse.
You're smoking again? I
You
was
have,
just
like,
about to.
Zero rights. How many images of sexually exploited children
Dude, what
are
is he
purveyed every
talking
year
about?
on social media sites?
The number is astronomical. And Senator, if I can just add one step to that analysis.
Please.
It's not just what's on social media that is quote unquote real. It's the introduction of artificial intelligence and
Right.
generative AI that is creating even more child sexually abuse material and even more sexually violent acts online and mimicking people.
Would you say that the way social media is structured today, really no accountability, 36 million images in 2023?
Is this guy's time not up? How many questions does Graham get? Does he get an hour?
Hazard?
It is.
They're
Would
going to
you
go
say that
around
it's a mental
at
health
least
problem,
2 times,
particularly for younger people?
considering how long it is.
It absolutely is.
Do you
Cheers,
agree
everyone.
that some of these sites are designed to be addictive?
I think not only are some of these sites designed to be addictive, unfortunately, the reality is some of these sites are designed to generate income. And many people are generating income based on this illegal trade.
Do you think it's now time for America to deal with this problem?
I'm all in. I have been all in.
Easy,
and I'm happy to work with
cheers.
Congress to do so.
Sorry.
Well, I'll tell
cheers.
you what, having the FBI director all in is great news. For me, and I hope the committee will respond and that we'll be all in trying to fix a problem that I think is doing a lot of damage to our country. When it comes to John Bolton, was there new evidence involved in the raid on his home?
Sir, that investigation is very much ongoing.
ongoing.
As you know, there was a raid of his house pursuant to a legal
Was there a
search
warrant obtained to go in?
Absolutely.
Oh, but you
sir.
didn't care that the Epstein files were ongoing during
We're
Joe
looking
Biden's
to
presidency,
have
did we?
that search warrant unsealed at the
Yeah,
appropriate
I
time.
think
You
that
didn't
would
care
be
about what
good,
you
quite
said
frankly.
during Charlie Kirk's
In December
assassination
2023,
talks,
Director Ray
even though it's
said
ongoing, did you?
he sees blinking lights everywhere regarding to foreign terrorist threats against our homeland. How would you characterize the state of threats to our homeland by foreign terrorist groups?
The guy
Foreign
with the
terrorist-
sign?
Of his
I think the guy director all in.
What is it?
Is great.
and I'm happy to work with Congress to do so.
Well, I tell you what, having the
Online child sexual exploitation increases every year, 2014 to 2023. In the difference, I feel like they should have shown every year in between. I don't know why we're just seeing, fucking 2014 and 2023. Why are we not seeing 2024? Why are we not seeing the stuff for 2025? I don't know.
FBI
Weird.
director all in is great news for me, and I hope the committee will respond and that we'll be all in trying to fix a problem that I think is doing a lot of damage to our country. When it comes to John Bolton, was there new evidence involved in the raid on his home? Director Ray
A little bit
said
back to wherever we were.
he sees blinking lights everywhere regarding to foreign terrorist threats against our homeland. How would you characterize the state of threats?
Data probably doesn't
to our
support the message.
homeland
Yeah,
by
that's
foreign
why
terrorist
I'm
groups?
Foreign
curious.
terrorist organizations have adapted and started utilizing online platforms, and so is the FBI. And so while they are adapting and expanding how they harm our country, we have as well. They have not stopped. There's been a resurgence in places like West Africa and elsewhere
banning
of foreign
AI
terrorist
and
organizations, and
animate-
also
how do they
the
ban
newly
AI
emboldened
with
drug
like the
trafficking
recent
organizations
things
in
going
Mexico.
about
It's
no
gonna take a
passing
whole
laws about
government
AI? What happened with
approach
that?
to get
Does
to tackle the problem.
Hezbollah fall within that group?
Just
Yes, sir.
fucking what?
So Hezbollah is involved in not only terrorism, but narco-terrorism?
Yes, sir.
So do you consider Hezbollah a threat to the United States?
Absolutely.
What the fuck are we?
All right,
What?
finally,
Huh?
do you have enough people
Sorry.
to do all this? Do you need more people? You're involved in a lot of things, and the numbers speak for themselves. You have
They don't.
FBI
The
agents
government
helping
doesn't
here
know
in
what a
Washington,
local
D.C.
server
You have
is. So
FBI
I mean,
agents helping
give it
in
50 years,
illegal
and maybe they'll
immigration.
have a problem with it.
That's good. You've got a chance here to tell us if you need more people. Seems to me that threat level of this country is pretty high right now. You got thousands of domestic terrorism cases. How many are being investigated?
I think 3,500 off the top of my head.
3,500, okay. Anyway, it seems your plate's pretty full. I would urge you to get with your people. And if you think you need more people, now's the time to do it. It would be a shame
No,
to miss
not-
an
not the
opportunity to
small
plus
dude
up
boy
the
up.
FBI if the threats justified it. Will you look?
I will look, sir.
Okay, but are you comfortable you have enough people right now?
Right now, I'm comfortable with the reallocation of agents and personnel outside of Washington, D.C., and plussing up states like South Carolina in double-digit numbers. And I'll get back with my team on this one.
Thank you for your service.
Senator Whitehouse.
Boy, is my timing good.
All right, we're over to White House. What we're gonna get?
Director Patel,
It's gonna be an
welcome.
argument
Thank you, sir.
for sure.
When you were here for your confirmation, we talked about your so-called enemies list. It appears to me that there have been adverse actions of various kinds taken against about 20 of the 60 people on your enemies list. You've been in office for 7 months. At that rate, you've got 14 months until you've hit all 60. Can you explain that?
I've got it.
Again, that is an entirely inaccurate presupposition. I do not have an enemies list. You can continue to characterize it as you wish. The only actions we take, generally speaking, for personnel at the FBI are ones based on merit and qualification and your ability to uphold your constitutional duty. You fall short, you don't work.
Merit and qualification, and yet you're taking away the required merit of having some sort of college degree pertaining to like what the fuck?
Well, actually, we're hiring based on merit now, but we took away the thing that says you have to have a college degree.
Not there anymore.
Well, there was a list. You don't like it to be called an enemies list, and it had about 60 names, and about 20 have had an adverse action. So those are, I think, pretty clear facts. Let me move on to your grand jury testimony, which we also talked about when you were here. I think you indicated that you understood that a witness in the grand jury is free to discuss afterwards whatever they told the grand jury. And
hey, I mean, he
then
also
went
wrote a
on to
book,
suggest,
right?
saying,
Donald
"I
Trump,
can't
about Donald Trump and him
go
being a
into
wizard or
court
something.
orders granted by the DC District Chief Judge, and you want me to violate a court order." In those remarks, you fairly plainly suggested that there was a court order of some kind that somehow restricted or limited your ability to discuss your own testimony to that grand jury. Since then, that chief judge that you mentioned, Judge Boasberg, has written, and I'm quoting him here, "Federal Rule of Criminal Procedure 6E allows witnesses like Patel to divulge the contents of their testimony, meaning that nothing was preventing him from doing so before the committee." Can we confirm here today that there is no court order of any kind that limits your ability?
Actually,
as a
Senator, go
witness
fuck yourself.
before the
He's gonna
grand
get
jury
so
to
mad.
discuss your own testimony to that grand jury?
We can confirm that pursuant to my action, that grand jury testimony has been released, the transcript.
Let's, in what forum was it released, may I ask?
Publicly.
Okay, we'll check on that. The FBI does background investigations. In the case of a U.S. attorney, Janine Pirro, it has come to light that in a civil proceeding, that Fox News executives, prior to her confirmation, called her, I'm quoting here, a reckless maniac who makes, quote, insane comments, and said, "I don't trust her to be responsible," and noted her penchant for what they called random conspiracy theories on weird internet sites.
Oh my God.
My question to you is, did that turn up in her background investigation?
For any background investigation, Senator, we do not discuss those publicly. And for every background investigation, when there's an adjudication, it is not made by me. It is made by the career professionals who run the inspection division and background check system.
Do you know if that information was found? You see, we're an oversight body here, and there are really three possibilities here. One is that the FBI background investigation didn't find that stuff.
They know and they didn't care.
That's worth noting, because
What's
these
three?
investigations, full field background investigations, are supposed to find that stuff. That's possibility one. Possibility two is that the FBI did in fact find that information and then did not report it to the administration or to the committee.
Okay, then if you're doing that,
third
then they reported it and didn't
Is
care.
that you found it, you reported it to the administration, and they went ahead with her nomination knowing that she had been described as a reckless maniac who made insane comments, who wasn't trusted by colleagues to be responsible, and who had a penchant for random conspiracy theories on weird internet sites. Are you saying that this committee does not have any authority or reason to look into which of those things is true?
This committee can look into anything it wishes. I'm telling you that the background investigations that are done by the HRD division are done by career individuals. They do not report the details of those to me. They adjudicate those independently and individually.
No fucking way does the background check of someone being put up for like DC district attorney or whatever it was, or prosecutor maybe, Janine Pirro, like there's no fucking shot that does not get to your desk as the director of the FBI. And if it doesn't get to your desk, that's a big fucking problem right there, because then you have a problem with actually getting any information and you have no idea what's going on inside your own FBI.
That's how it's always been done.
You fucking
What
crazy?
happened during the pause of FBI background investigations that was alleged in the complaint against you and the
Hello,
FBI
Bubbles.
by the FBI agents who were terminated? On February 12th, Emil Bovee directed the FBI, quote, to pause any FBI background investigations of Trump nominees until Patel was confirmed, which happened on February 20th, is the general description. of
Wouldn't
what
want
they
anyone else
alleged.
to do those background checkies,
Why,
huh?
do you know, were background investigations paused? Was it so material like this could be scrubbed out of them? And have they been resumed without that pause fully and normally after your arrival on February 20th?
I can speak to the time period since I got there. Background investigations have been ongoing across the board at the FBI.
Why was the pause, do you know?
I was not there.
Wasn't explained to you when you got there? Oh, by the way, boss, they've had a
I don't know anything.
multi-day pause
It
on
turns
background
out I don't
investigations.
know
You think that would
anything,
be something that
actually.
would be explained
I don't know anything
to
that's
you at
going
some
on
point?
ever.
Again, I leave it to the men and women at the HRD division.
I
to
leave
run background
everything to everybody
investigations. I do
else.
not interfere with that.
And I just
get
tweet
that.
about us finding people.
But what I don't get
And I'm wrong
is
most of
whether
the
you were
time.
told about that pause, and why would you not be told about that pause?
I don't recall that, sir.
All right. The allegation also relates that part of the employee review of senior staff was whether or not they voted for Kamala Harris in the 2024 election.
Mm-hmm.
Since when is who you voted for a proper question for agents to be asked?
I don't know what allegation you're referring to, Senator. If it's from an ongoing matter in litigation,
And then I
can't
can't
discuss
talk
that. But
about
what I
it.
can discuss
I'd like to. I'm
is
casting.
only
I
speak to
can't
the
talk about that.
FBI's background investigations. There are other background investigations conducted across the government. I can only speak to
So
mine.
just to clarify, I'm not talking about the FBI full field background investigations. I'm talking about internal employee reviews for promotion, for termination, for job actions of various kinds. And my question to you is it now the policy of the FBI to ask agents who they voted for, and since when is who agents voted for a proper question for the FBI to ask?
Taking those in reverse order, it's not a proper question, and it's improper to allege that I'm doing that. And also, at the FBI specifically, under my leadership, we do not ask who you voted for. And just one correction for the record, if I may, Senator, it's Security Division that runs background investigations, not HRD.
Okay, I'll accept that correction. And in the event that we cannot locate your grand jury transcript, just expect a question for the record that will give you the chance to either provide that transcript again if it had been previously provided, or to make the statement that Grand Jury Rule 6E
I'm sorry,
allows you,
Bubbles.
to the best of your recollection.
Now you're here and you're
truthfully,
watching
about
this.
what it is that you told that grand jury.
Well, I'm glad you're
You
here.
understand that?
That's why I
But
wanted the transcript released.
sorry
We'll get
it's
it
to
you.
this.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Chairman.
I think I want to take an opportunity when we hear about your political weaponization to remind my Democratic colleagues
that what's happened the last decade, federal law enforcement, intelligence community, even when Trump was president, has thrown everything at him. They've even gone after his associates and Republican Party organizations.
So far, the
One
Democrats have been
investigation after
ruthless.
another, one prosecution
And he gets
after
butthurt.
another.
And the Republicans are like,
use
you're doing
examples
a
you've heard
phenomenal
me already
job.
say today, Crossfire Hurricane and Arctic Frost. These were all built on defective foundations of political bias. And then we released the Clinton Index and the Durham Index and the FBI's failures to investigate. So I've been acquainted with this because I've been trying to get to the bottom of it, and we had to get a new FBI director to get all this information, Senator Cornyn.
Director Patel, welcome. Thank you for your willingness to serve in this very challenging position.
Oh my God.
How many people work for the FBI today?
Here we go. We got some more Republican glazing.
I've always wondered whether an organization that big and that diffused all across the nation was actually capable of being managed. Have you experienced any surprises in terms of the, as the director, in terms of your management of the organization?
In my experience, Senator, the leaders in the field are supposed to lead. So we have empowered and we've changed the structural operation of the FBI to empower SACs in the 56 field office, 55, 56 come 1 October, to lead the mission. We've also empowered the respective assistant directors and operational directors.
Now, Mr. Cash Patel, you have so many employees there, don't you, friend? Tell us something about what it's like to live a day in your shoes. What do you eat for breakfast? Poppy seed bagel? We talking cream cheese?
Like a very practical way to
Fucking
approach it.
stupid-ass
And,
Republican bullshit questions. What's your favorite Bible verse?
Morale when I travel
like
around
ice cream?
the country, in my experience, has never been higher. The FBI and
Cash,
the
do you have
police
any smaller
officers
suits?
that we work hand in glove with
Could you put your
across
tie
this
on
country
correctly?
are excited to do the
Who
work.
tied it for you?
And the stats that I'm citing are no achievement of mine. The stats that I'm citing in the 7 months that I've been there, such as a 42% increase in cyber arrests alone this year, is because the men and
I
women
can't believe he, like,
the FBI have been
puts
empowered
gel in his hair every morning and does that, and he's like, damn, this looks cool.
And with our great partners in the respective states like Texas, and where we just returned a top 10 most wanted fugitive in Cindy Singh, are getting the ability to make those prosecutions a reality.
by the way, Senator Durbin was asking about polygraphs. Aren't polygraphs a standard part of the
His girlfriend's like 22.
standard
She
test
is like a
given to
Mossad
people's
agent.
security clearances across the
She's
intelligence community?
I swear,
As a
an Israeli
condition to
spy.
Maintaining your security
I'm almost
clearance?
positive.
Speaking of intelligence, one of the things that I've wondered about over time is, you know, the FBI is a premier law enforcement agency in the nation, but you also have other important responsibilities.
Yeah,
in
kind of honey trap very
counterintelligence.
openly. Yeah.
And there's been different debates or
Yeah, the difference, like in like she's
wondering
like a
including me,
clear
whether that's an
what people would
appropriate
on
role
average say like
for
a
the
like a
FBI
9.5,
and I guess the
a 9 at
most
least, and I
challenging
mean
part of
Cash is
that
like a
is if
4.
It's not at the FBI. Where would it go? But can
And they
you,
kind of just go
given
out
your
to like
background, I
fancy
know it's,
events.
working on the
They just
HIPSI,
go to like fancy events like
and
UFC
your
fights and
intelligence
like
background.
big dinners.
Can you talk a little bit
I
about?
believe he was at dinner with her
how
when, the first
what you
night when he
think
tweeted
about
the wrong
counterintelligence
information
role of the
about the
FBI agents and how
them catching
that's
Charlie
working,
Kirk's
whether
killer.
you think it's performing the way it should, or whether there are other changes or reforms need to be made in order to improve its
Sugar baby,
its
no,
functioning. As you know,
Cash wouldn't be getting
the
enough money
threats
to
from
fund
our
that. No
adversary
way.
nations are just
No way.
proliferating,
I'm sure he
every
makes
day.
okay money as like
So
the
what do you
director of the
think?
FBI.
The
but
espionage activities of our adversaries
it's
have never been
definitely
so high, and I think
it
the
seems like it's
counterintelligence mission
intelligence is the
properly housed
case.
within the FBI
Yeah.
because we
And I don't mean
invested
like
with
because
those
he's
authorities for
intelligent.
Congress, and I believe that mission set is working. And if I can, sir, since January 20th of this
I haven't
year,
even
the
been
FBI
listening
has
to what these
55
idiots have been saying
arrests
over
on the
here right now.
counterintelligence mission alone. That's a
Just some
30%
stupid shit back
increase in
there,
CIA
but, you know.
arrests from the same time.
We like to
year-to-date
talk
last
about
year.
the percentage
We've
numbers
arrested
of our
33
Fuck off.
33% increase in PRC counterintelligence arrests. an 83% increase in Russia counterintelligence arrests from the same time last year, then a 60% increase on Iran counterintelligence arrests from the same time period last year. So we are already on total
Making caramel on top of my
exceeding
cake.
the entirety of
nice.
the number of arrests from the previous year on counterintelligence matters across the board. And in my opinion, the FBI is the only agency that can do it. Now, we work with the interagency to do it, and we need them, but we have the mission set.
Thank you. You know, sometimes I wonder whether we sort of repeat the way we do things because we've always done it that way. And I'm getting up to building up to this issue of the narco trafficking and what.
Oh my!
what
What you
President
mean?
Trump
Just
has
like
ordered
all of
the
a sudden,
Defense Department to
fucking
do in terms of
rocketing
take out
boats and
some of these
land vehicles
transnational
now?
criminal
We've said we're going to
organizations that
start
are
shooting openly in other
importing
countries.
Poison into the United States and responsible for killing tens of thousands of Americans.
I thought Donald Trump said
maybe
30
hundreds of
million
thousands
last
of
year.
Americans over time. Do you think a law enforcement model for dealing with these narco traffickers is adequate to deal with the threat? Or do you think we need to start thinking about this in maybe new and different ways? Obviously, we're not engaged in a war per se, although it is a war.
Trump wants to be a mafia boss so bad. Yeah.
And the law enforcement model seems to.
Well, I think
be
technically
not
he wants to
working
be
from the
a
standpoint of,
dictator, but
dealing with the
he would
volume
settle for mafia
of
boss.
the threat and the magnitude of the threat. Do you think we need to start thinking about how do we deal within constitutional legal parameters to deal with this problem in a different way to be more effective in protecting the American people?
Absolutely. And the way to analogize this and why I've advocated for the designation, and I'm thankful that
Yeah,
the Trump
imagine.
administration has
Donald's like,
designated
it was
these
300
cartels
million
and narco
deaths.
traffickers as foreign terrorist organizations.
300
is because
million.
We must treat them like the foreign terrorist organizations post 9/11. We must treat them like the Al-Qaedas of the world because that's how we're operating. And just treating them with law enforcement capabilities alone was wholly
Yeah, it
insufficient.
feels like
to
they are
wipe out the
just
targets in their
glazing for so
entirety. They
long
always
in
had
this.
the next man up philosophy. If you take out the leader, they got 10 guys behind it. But in order to eliminate an authority, it's going to.
John Hoffman and his wife Yvette combined 17 times.
On to the next
And
set of
evidence
questions.
indicates that he would have killed a lot more if law enforcement hadn't intervened. Just last month in my state, we were again shook to the core when little kids were shot down through stained glass windows in Annunciation Catholic Church in Minneapolis. And while the victims weren't politicians in this case, they were 6-year-olds and 8-year-olds, the manifesto that the shooter left behind was political. But in the words of your own federal law enforcement, this person was an all-purpose hater. Went after blacks, Hispanics, the president, Muslims, Jews, nearly everyone. And this happened during the first Mass of the year for these kids. They were excited to see their friends, meet their new teachers, and 2 children, 8-year-old Fletcher Merkel, 10-year-old Harper Moisky, were murdered. 21 other people injured, some of the kids, 18 kids, severely. Fletcher was just starting 3rd grade. He loved his family, his friends. He loved fishing and cooking. In his dad's words, any sport he was allowed to play.
God, what
Harper,
the fuck
the
is
other
Kash
child,
Patel going to respond
we
with here?
celebrated her life this Sunday, thousands of people. Her parents described her as bright, joyful, and a deeply loved 10-year-old whose laughter, kindness, and spirit touched everyone that she knew. We've heard the words of young children who were saved because 12-year-olds laid on top of them, or a kid with disabilities who was paralyzed, whose teacher pulled him out of the wheelchair, threw him under the pew, and laid on top of him. We do thank the local FBI director and the local U.S. Attorney's Office for their work in both of these cases, the Hortman case and this. But I did want to focus on one local law enforcement moment that I'm not sure has made with all the news going on in Minnesota. When the first 911 call, and you've heard about other places where this waited and waited, the first 911 call was made at 8:27 a.m. The first officer was on the scene just 4 minutes later, local Minneapolis police, at 8:31 a.m. The chief, Chief O'Hara, shared with me the actual numbers. Listen to this. Over 20 people were in ambulances just 14 minutes, all of them, after police got on this scene 14 minutes after the first call, tourniquets, stretchers, and they got them all to Hennepin County Medical Center or Minneapolis Children's Hospital. And I think it is worth looking at what happened there, because one of the dads whose daughter was severely injured, still in the hospital, that I met on Sunday, told me that there is absolutely no way his beautiful daughter would have survived if police hadn't been there. So it is worth looking at for all of us. So my focus on behalf of these parents, because I promised I would do this on Sunday, was just to figure out how we can do anything to stop this from happening again. So expanded background checks, ghost gun bans, every shooting is different. Raising the minimum age to purchase an assault weapon, even if we're not going to ban them, I favor banning them. But that's one idea that's out there when so many of these shootings are people who are 18, 19, 20, 21. The one at Annunciation Church was 23. Both shooters in Uvalde and Buffalo had just turned 18 when they purchased the assault weapon bans. I'm not saying any one of these things would prevent every single shooting, but I really ask everyone.
Can't rent a car until you're like 25, but
we also need to tackle social
you can
media, and I really
you can go
did
get a gun the moment you turn
Senator
18.
Graham's questions. I think we
Technically,
have
you
to
can be
protect
like
free speech and not
given
engage
one
in
from someone
censorship.
else before you're
But
18.
for years, I have supported repealing Section 230, which was made when these companies were little companies starting up in garages. And I think it is one way to get at making this better environment online and preventing violence. So my first question is on the assault weapon ban. Do you think that would be helpful in reducing gun deaths, Director?
The renting a car thing varies by
Senator, if I
state,
may,
does it?
I want to answer the question, but thank you for your remarks, especially it relates to my friend Charlie. And I share and relay my remarks, my sentiments to you. Minnesota has suffered untold tragedy in these last few months. And whatever creativity we can use to eliminate even just one shooting, one horrific death, I am in favor of engaging with Congress fully to do. I don't have the answers. I don't know what will eliminate it in its entirety, but I'm willing to engage and explore new ways with you.
Gun control.
Okay, thank you. And so, assault weapon ban. What do you think?
Senator, I think there are instances on this legislation that could prevent future attacks, but I'm not going to weigh into the creation of legislation.
Could you also look at, and I favor just assault weapon ban, not getting these guns in the hands of people that shouldn't have them, but could you look at the numbers on the ages?
Yes.
Because from 18, even going from 18 to 21, which wouldn't have prevented the shooter in Annunciation Church from purchasing that gun. He purchased several the same day. Over 100 rounds were fired.
Shouldn't we be
from
talking
these
about
assault
like the
weapons
head of
with
the ATF or
stained glass
something?
windows. So if you got
for
one up
this?
to 25, it would have stopped that immediate
Right?
purchase and probably saved
Am I wrong?
the lives of these kids. But if you go to 21, that is the same age that already applies to purchasing handguns from federally licensed dealers. So I prefer another approach, but I was hoping that our Republican colleagues would at least look at that, given Uvalde, Buffalo, and some of these other mass shootings, trying to be practical, but thinking that it could make a major difference. Strengthening background checks, could you also look at that? And then banning
It's being
ghost
reported the
guns
senior
and
mega officials
bump
are calling
stocks.
for. I don't know. I honestly could see them getting rid of Kash Patel and just making Dan Bongino the guy, because I'm already picturing Dan Bongino in here just going like crazy mode, like conspiracy theories galore. That's what I'm imagining right now. So I feel like that's probably what they're gonna do. I feel like he keeps doing stupid shit over and over, and he's becoming like their Kash Patel is kind of right now their little clown boy, and I think they're gonna like finish up with the little clown boy thing for him after like whatever goes down with the Charlie Kirk case and like him going forward with it. I think they're trying to put as much culpability on him now at this point as they can before just tossing him off the boat and keel hauling him.
What do you think of that?
So, Senator, you're talking
Metaphorically,
to my heart
of course.
here on one of the core missions that the FBI which is our CGIS facility in Winchester, Virginia, which is our hub for our NICS checks, our NCICs, our capabilities on when we have, I think it's 19,000 state and local community law enforcement come to us for these background checks. We're trying to make that processing as fast as we can so we can get them real-time information. I think we have a 93% clearance rate in 15 minutes as it relates to ghost guns, but we can do better.
All right, well, just if you could get back to me on all those and talk to the White House. Threats against elected officials have increased exponentially. Members of Congress received more than 9,000 threats last year, up from 1,600 in 2016.
Jesus Christ.
There's been a lot of talk about the rhetoric and the like. And if we want to
Wonder
move
what
forward
most of those phone calls
on
are
things
from.
like Section 230, or even look if we can do anything on guns, I do think we're going to have to be honest about this all-purpose hater issue, and it has bothered me, this thing, we're going to go after this group, we're going to have to go after this group. I just want to, for the record, show that the murder of Speaker Hortman and her husband, it was Democratic lawmakers on his list. He went to the ones whose addresses he had, by the way. Planned Parenthood was on the list, as were businesses and law firms. Doctors. I already mentioned the ones with the Catholic Church shooting. So it is not just as the radicals on the left, what's a quote from the president, are the problems or destructive movement of left-wing extremism that Vice President Vance said. According to the Anti-Defamation League last year, all the murders were committed. And I'm not actually going to say this because I don't even want to go left-right with this, but you can imagine it wasn't from the left. Cato Institute, conservative think tank, published a study just last week.
Just say it. It's from the right.
From the right were responsible for 6 times more deaths than people from the left. I actually don't want to go tit for tat on this, but what I am asking for is that this rhetoric of blaming one side or the other stop, if you could convey that to the president, and that we actually work on things that are solutions. So could you
She
commit
said,
to
go
me,
tell Donald
Mr.
Trump to
Patel,
stop it.
Director Patel, that you will do
Go
that?
tell Donald to stop.
Okay, thank you. Last, you were asked about social media, and I will put some more questions on the record about that. I think we could make major movement on that. The local FBI helped when the city of St. Paul was a victim of a cyber attack, and I'm concerned about some of the cyber attack cuts. I'll ask you that on the record. AI, I'm glad you raised that. I think we have to do more, but also including election interference because they're using AI videos. I just had one happen in this very committee on me, and I just think they're going to start using it in democracy, election. They could be foreign. Do you think some of this is foreign entities, Mr. Patel?
Generally speaking, we have traced a lot of this to loose groups overseas that don't have any sort of central cluster.
There's going to be a lot on you then. And then last, I'll put on the record just my concern about protecting journalists.
I don't think Kash Patel has done anything as the head of the FBI. Yeah, we've done
FBI resources
there's something.
to investigate members of the media for activities related to news gathering, reporting, or reporting on government whistleblowers, something near and dear to the chairman's heart.
The only time we would involve an investigation of a journalist if they've conducted or committed an allegation of separate criminal activity, most prominently leaks of classified information.
Thank you.
Senator Hawley.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Director Patel, good to see you. Thank you for being here.
Oh, God.
Leading the FBI at a very critical time for that agency and also a critical time for our country. And I want to start by talking
grinding
to
up
you
some more
about
weed
the
now.
tide of violence that we have seen, ideological violence against people of faith.
Oh,
particularly
no.
Christians. You just think here, take a rough catalog just in the last couple of years. We've seen
What did I tell you?
Covenant School, Christian School in Nashville. We've seen school shooting at the Annunciation School.
It's
We've
about
seen church
people of
shootings
faith.
multiply. We've seen acts of crime and violence, vandalism, arson against churches and parishes all across the country. And then, of course, last week, Charlie Kirk, who said, I want to be remembered for my courage, for my faith. was shot on a college campus. Let me just start with.
Do you think that has to do
the
with
assassination
religion?
of Charlie Kirk. Is the FBI?
Oh,
and I
my
appreciate the
God.
tremendous work
Here
the
we go.
FBI has done in this investigation. Is the FBI investigating
Fuck do they
the
do?
Kirk assassination as part of this broader pattern of anti-religious, anti-Christian violence?
We are investigating Charlie's assassination fully and completely and running out every lead related to any allegation of broader violence. And we're producing results on that we'll disclose when appropriate.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Let me just ask you a few questions about that, if I could. Sure. Reports have suggested that the FBI is investigating a broader network of groups that may have had some knowledge of the shooter's plans. Can you give us any details on that, following up what you've already said in public? How's the FBI working to find other potential accomplices, folks who may have known about the shooter's plans, folks who may have encouraged him? Any update on any of that?
So in terms of what we do for an interrogation perspective, we go and reach out to the family and community immediately. And we've conducted those investigations and interrogations with local law enforcement, and we're continuing to do that because those closest to the suspect are going to hopefully know the most about the suspect and his beliefs and his ideology. On top of that, unfortunately, it has been leaked that there was a Discord chat, and for those unfamiliar with it, it's a gaming chat room online that the suspect participated in. So what we're doing, we've already done a video process, not just on Discord, so that the information we gathered is sustained and held in a evidentiary posture that we could use in prosecution should it be decided to do so. And we're also going to be investigating anyone and everyone involved in that Discord chat.
Okay, very good.
What?
I see the public reports that
They're gonna send investigators to everyone in the Discord that they were in?
and he has 20 additional users. It sounds like you're trying to run down all of that to see if that's accurate. Who else?
I feel like hearing that they're just going to have more people like go commit heinous actions after joining a Discord and then just say something in the Discord and then cause the FBI. Like, I feel like by saying that openly, that's a really bad decision.
Have been on that
They
thread.
quite literally, the people that they're like talking about here want trolling and chaos.
What they may have known. Is that fair to say?
It's a lot more than that, and we're running them all down.
It's a lot more than 20?
Yes, sir.
And you're running all of that to ground,
Every
you said.
single one.
Liam's on Matt's live.
Let me just turn to the broader question here of anti-religious, anti-Christian violence. Let me just give you a few stats that I'm sure that you're all too
Anti-Christian
familiar
violence.
with. Every person of faith in America certainly is. Major report this past year found that there have been over 400 instances of hostility against churches in the United States in the year 2024. Those included arsons, bomb threats, shootings, and firearm incidents. Another organizational report found that there were 500 attacks on Catholic parishes alone. So that number 415, that's all Christian churches in 2024. Another organization found 500 separate attacks on just Catholic parishes since May of 2020. Of course, we have the Covenant school shooting, the Annunciation school shooting in Minnesota, where 2 children were shot dead as they were praying in a pew. Here's my question: What is the FBI doing to take on this rising tide of violence that seems to be motivated?
Just say
by
gun violence.
anti-religious
They're so fucking stupid. I hate it. I hate how stupid they are. It seems to be motivated by anti-Christian. How many motherfucking mass shooters do you think are far right and like religious? Come on.
Specifically, sir, we have 60 anti-Catholic hate crime incidences reported to us that are being investigated. Publicly, I can tell you we have 5 hate crime investigations with anti-Catholic bias ongoing currently in the states, in the cities of Kansas City, Louisville, Houston, Nashville, and Richmond. That's what I can say publicly. But any ideologically based attack against any faith, as a man of faith myself, will not be tolerated, and the full resources of the FBI are committed to all of it.
What do you believe in?
Investigating
Fuck.
any
Talking about
domestic
Valhalla the other
cells
day.
that instigate or encourage or fund or in any way support attacks on churches or other houses of worship?
Senator, you raise an incredibly important point that most people don't look at. I've always said we follow the money, and whether it's terrorism or attacks based on ideology or attacks on institutions of faith or people of faith,
What?
someone's paying for it. and we are reverse tracing those steps. We are not stopping at the perpetrator themselves. We are reverse engineering to hold those accountable in our.
They are getting ready to try and put RICO charges against so many people on the left, I feel. Like the way that
Investigations to who funded them and knowingly funded them, and we will bring the appropriate steps against them with our partners at DOJ.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. We look forward to hearing reports on that progress. Yeah.
Someone else speaking, they got to turn their mic on.
Let me just ask you this in the same vein, Director. Since the Dobbs decision, the FBI has advertised $25,000 rewards for information on attacks on abortion clinics. Will the FBI similarly offer rewards for information on attacks on houses of abortion?
Yes, when it is appropriate, the rewards are any reward, whether it's an attack on a house of faith or on a homicide or whatever, is determined by a group within the FBI, but we will work with them to make sure that rewards of monetary value are put out for all ideologically based attacks.
Good. You just rattled off some statistics, which I was glad to hear about the number of investigations you have open, the incidents you're tracking against Christians, against houses of worship. Let me just ask you if you consider
driving that to happen more.
A senior.
You're now driving that to happen further. Anything that you label as a hate crime against information will automatically grant money. That's not something you say out loud, Kash. You say that like, oh my God.
Official as a liaison to houses of worship.
This is so unbelievable how fucking dumb this guy is. This is the head of the FBI, and he keeps saying things that he really should not be saying in this.
Christian and other religious organizations to publish metrics on investigations and arrests related to church attacks, church threats, vandalism, arson, etc. Will you set up a system for liaising and then reporting so that everybody can see, this committee and the public can see just how many attacks we're talking about, just what the level of threat and violence is and what the FBI is
Do you want like a religious hate crime counter on their website?
Private sector partnership on this specific issue, just like the other ones we've talked about, is equally transformative to finding those involved in these criminal activities. And with your assistance, I would ask you if you're able to identify someone who's an expert in that area, we will work with them. We will take their information because as great as the FBI is, we're only as good as the information we can get. And we don't have the reach that the private sector does in some of these areas.
Very good. Happy to help on that. Let me ask you about something specific to the FBI because sadly, as you know, the FBI, when it comes to anti-religious animus, has been part of the problem before you got to this agency. And I know that you remember the infamous memo generated by the FBI that attempted to recruit informants in houses of worship, in particular in Catholic parishes. Your predecessor testified when this information, I just want to reiterate, this memo became public because of a whistleblower. It was not turned over to this committee. It was not disclosed to this committee. In fact, we were told it didn't exist, and then a whistleblower published it, showing that indeed the FBI had recruited informants, attempted to, into Catholic parishes. Your predecessor then testified, sitting right where you are today, he testified that this, I'm going to quote, was a single product by a single field office, end quote. That was a lie. Because we then had additional whistleblowers come forward and say, no, actually, multiple field offices contributed to the drafting of the report. And indeed, there was a second anti-Catholic memo that the FBI generated. And indeed, those memos were distributed to over 1,000 FBI agents across the country.
The
you
fuck
know all
do you
of this.
mean
You and I talked about it
anti-Catholic
when you were here
memo?
for your confirmation hearing back in January. I just want to follow up and see, have you been able to determine how this memo got written and distributed? How is it that the Federal Bureau of Investigation came to be recruiting informants in Christian churches in this country?
Senator, we did dig in, and we are.
Is that what they call an anti-Catholic memo? Because they're recruiting informants in churches? That's fucking wild. That's
We're
crazy.
doing our investigation simultaneously with Congress. And just to put it in perspective, we've provided 700 documents on the Richmond Catholic Memo specifically to this committee, whereas my predecessor provided 19 pages. And not only that, but we looked into how the source recruitment structure at the FBI was
Another MAGA
conducted
from my-
during this
oh,
time.
jeez.
And we made adjustments and permanent fixes to ensure
20
that
years, 20 years for
sources
Trump.
are not put into houses of worship unless there is an actual ongoing criminal or international terrorism threat. We will not use sources at this FBI to investigate and cull information just for the sake of culling information in houses of worship.
Has anybody been fired for this?
There have been terminations related to this and resignations.
Good. There need to be, because if this is going to be standard at the FBI, nobody can trust the FBI. You want to talk about violating the First Amendment? This has got First Amendment violation written all over it. It's one of the most revolting chapters in the FBI's history.
Shut the
and
fuck
considering what
up,
we're seeing
guy.
more broadly in terms
You
of the
and
acts
your
of violence
religious
against people of
bullshit.
faith, this has absolutely got to end. The FBI has to lead the way. So I count on you to do that, Director. Let me just, in the minute or so that I have remaining, let me just shift gears and ask you about something else you said earlier. You said that protecting our youth is maybe the FBI's top priority. It's great to hear. Let me ask you about the role of AI chatbots in that, which you've talked about a little bit already today.
What?
Are you investigating any cases of AI-generated child sex abuse material? You issued
It's not
a
a
PSA
chatbot.
earlier this year warning that synthetic
not what a
child sex
chatbot
abuse
is.
material, it's where the AI generates it using maybe a real kid's image, but then generates sex material, sex abuse material.
Good night,
You
boyo.
warned that was illegal under federal law. Is the FBI investigating any instances of this synthetic CSAM material generated by AI that you could speak to?
We are investigating dozens of those matters because let me just say this. As far as the FBI is concerned, generative AI that produces CSAM, child sexual abuse material, under our investigative authorities is treated as equally as if it were actual child sexual abuse material. There's no difference for me in the FBI on this.
Let me just ask you one other thing in this vein. I'm sure you've seen the reporting that Meta's AI rules, their own internal guidelines, allowed their chatbots to have sensual, that's their word, sensual conversations with children. We've had instances, multiple instances of children, minors, taking their own lives at the behest of chatbots that instructed them with specificity on how to do it. What's the FBI's role here in investigating what
Does
is
Facebook
going on
have a chatbot?
with these chatbots, with these AI companies encouraging?
Does
listen,
Facebook
if an
have
actual
a
person did that,
AI
we would
bot?
say that's grooming. We would say that's child abuse. These companies are doing it. Their own guidelines.
Especially
allow it.
hearing how
What can we do about
Holly
that?
say
You're referring
sensual.
to NDE, nihilistic
Yeah.
violent extremism, and 764. It has been made a priority of the FBI because they are targeting children, and these chatbots and these
Yes,
generative
they
AI
really.
are getting coupled with actual humans who are using them and releasing them because they can do the work faster and quicker than humans can and get
Meta
into spaces like social
produces
media where
llama?
humans have a difficulty in engaging. And what we're doing is treating any extension of generative AI as the criminal themselves.
You
And
know,
we have, I
TikTok
think,
had
I've
one as
gotta
well.
get the number back to you, but over 1,000 investigations related to NDE.
It was
We've
character
had
AI for
numerous
that one too?
takedowns and arrest of 764 individuals, and we are educating. This may be the most important part. I'm directly engaging with the social media and media companies, the internet service providers, to find a way to shut down. There's nothing I can do at the FBI to force them to shut it down, but work with you in Congress to find a way to work with our partners to get that shut down permanently.
Thank
Senator Coons.
Thank you, Chairman Grassley.
I was like, what are we hearing from the afterlife? Sounded like the ghost of Christmas past. It was just Chuck Grassley chiming in to go, Senator Combs.
Following this hearing, I'm grateful we're continuing.
Nice intro,
this
nice
committee's
intro.
Long tradition of oversight, and in particularly today, oversight of the FBI. Director Patel, thank you for being here. There's a number of issues I hope that we can speak to. I want to start by reading something you said to me during your confirmation hearing under oath. I have no interest, no desire,
Game
and
of
will not,
Thrones
if
bot.
confirmed, go
Game of
backwards.
Thrones
There will
bot,
be
really.
no politicization at the FBI. Then you looked me in the eyes and said there will be no retribution actions taken by the FBI should I be confirmed as director. I told you that in your office. I tell you that again today. I'm concerned that that's not what's happened, that since you
We
took
know that's
over
not
as
what's
director,
happened.
you've cleaned house or forced out senior leaders across the Bureau, in particular targeting those that worked on investigations of President Trump. The former acting director has just sued you for firing him for political reasons. So did a leader in the DC field office. And the well-respected leader of the Salt Lake City office was pushed out last month, leaving that office shorthanded at a particularly difficult time. I'm worried that these actions compromise the Bureau's ability to keep Americans safe. Hundreds of agents have resigned. You are lowering application standards to fill vacancies.
Yep.
You've reassigned large numbers of agents to work on immigration and street crime, issues other law enforcement agencies can handle, perhaps more effectively with the FBI, but I'm concerned that this compromises the Bureau's ability to address national security risks, uniquely its capability. In fact, you've shut down the Office of Integrity and Compliance, which makes sure that agents act in a lawful and ethical way, and reassign staff away
Similar
from
mid-size
domestic terrorism
LLMs.
investigations exactly at a moment I think we are
Interesting.
all concerned about it. I also have to ask, you came before the Appropriations Committee in May and told us you wanted a $500 million budget.
Yeah,
cut for the
it's never going to be about like actually
literally
helping the
an effort to
problem. It's
defund
instead
the
being
police.
like, we get rid of everything.
I am grateful for the work of the men and women of the FBI. They've done great work this year in Delaware, partnering with the Dover Police Department to support human trafficking victims, partnering with the Middletown Police Department on armed robbery and carjacking. And it's urgent, I think, that we fix the direction and the prioritization within the FBI. And I wish we could focus on those efforts today. But I'm seeing an FBI leadership more focused on social media clout and on political revenge than on fighting crime. Director, have you ever ordered that an FBI employee be terminated because he or she worked on an investigation into President Trump?
It was Meta's mom.
Senator,
I'm not
thank
trying
you.
to-
One quick correction for the record. There's 280
okay.
NV investigations. I gave the incorrect number to Senator Hawley. Thank you.
Understood.
As far as a lot of your statement, I disagree with it, and I'm happy to address it. But the only way, generally speaking, an individual is terminated at the FBI is if they have violated their oath of office, violated the law, or failed to uphold the standards that we need them to have at the FBI.
The standards that you need for them
So
to support Donald Trump.
Those who say that they've been fired because of working on investigations into President Trump are lying or misrepresenting?
Well, those matters are alleged in litigation, which is ongoing, so I can't comment on those specifically.
Another
Could you
cannot.
comment on why you
Casting
fired
can't
former
comment
acting
again.
FBI Director Driscoll?
I can't because it's ongoing litigation.
Could you say now definitively under oath that the rank and file agents who were assigned to work January 6 cases will not be terminated because that's what they were assigned to do?
I've said it before and I've said it again. Your case assignment, as I was given case assignments when I was a young prosecutor, does not dictate your career or your termination.
Thank you. Then let me go to the appropriations question. In May, you testified before the subcommittee on which I serve, defending the president's request that we slash the FBI's budget by about $500 million.
Hey, to hear me
The day
too.
before you testified the opposite in front of the House. Where are we in terms of the budget request? Senator Graham earlier said if you're requesting more funding for more agents, let us know. We're nearing the end of the fiscal year. In front of the committee on which I serve here in the Senate, your request was for a reduction of hundreds of millions of dollars. Where are we?
Where we are in the budget cycle is we at the FBI are in support of the president's budget, and we are in support of eliminating waste, fraud, and abuse. We've already identified tens of millions of dollars of duplicative contracts that the FBI was spending on software and private sector engagements. We've also identified duplicative workloads. So we are transitioning those folks out of doing the same thing twice over and into the field. And that's my focus right now. And the move of the FBI headquarters is also going to save the FBI $3.5 billion in the American taxpayers. So we're focused on eliminating waste, fraud, and abuse. And as I told Senator Graham, if we're, I'll go back and talk to my team, and if we need more, we'll let you know.
Are you planning any additional reductions in force, Director?
No.
How many vacancies are you currently trying to fill within the agency?
How many?
In terms of the 1811 ranks, there's a few hundred open vacancies that we have funded. And so we're filling all of those with our hybrid 1811 program and our new recruitment program. And
The
I think
new
a lesser amount
recruitment
of
program.
IAs and SOS.
So
You
if
mean where
hundreds
they
of
can
agents have
be
retired or taken the
cops?
fork in the road offer, and you have vacancies, but you're requesting $500 million less, how does having fewer FBI agents help you tackle violent crime and address our national security issues?
Just to put it in
question.
perspective,
Security
Senator,
issues.
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. If we had this 500 million. We've done the math. It would take us 14 years to onboard every vacancy that's on the books currently at the FBI because we can't hire these folks and train them overnight. It's a years-long process. So we are currently focused on recruiting the best and filling the positions to the best of our needs. And
by
we,
best,
even
you
if
mean
we
just
had this
former
extra money,
police
we wouldn't be able to
officers?
hire them overnight. We're looking for where the need is greatest, where in the country we need to send them, and how we can change the training requirements, which is why I'm thrilled to have police officers. They might not have a college degree, but they got the street smarts and the cop smarts to become FBI agents, and that's what we want.
Let me turn to Section 702. When you testified in front of the CJS subcommittee, we talked about this issue. You told me you were in favor of reauthorizing
The
clauses
FBI is
Section
about to be
702
like
when it
the dumbest fucking organization in the federal government. It's about to be so stupid. We're about to have just like no crimes get solved. Wow. Imagine if like any of the predominant serial killers were operating right now instead of when they did. Good Christ, they'd get away with everything. They'd get away with everything with Kash Patel and Dan Bongino on the case. This is ridiculous.
Expires next year.
I don't know how they're going to catch
long as the
anyone for
reforms,
any crime.
Implemented last year, reforms like better training for agents and real consequences for inappropriate searches of Americans' communications were maintained. You also said that you had some ideas about how to make Section 702 better going forward. Can you give me an update on the FBI's implementation of these reforms?
Yeah, unless the father calls and turns them in.
I think you're
I feel like this is going to be an FBI admin of offering people money. It is going to be a lot of offering people money for basically every crime that's out there that they need anything for. They're just going to be like, we'll give you a bunch of money if you turn whoever it is in. If you find it out yourself, call us. We'll give you money. I'm sure that'll work.
That were made in the query process have now been changed. It used to be you can make multiple mistakes and continue to access the query database system. I've changed that. If you make a mistake, you're immediately sidelined. A review is conducted. And if it was an actual mistake, i.e., there should have been S on the end of that name and there wasn't, then we put you back in. But we have to review those matters. So that's happening. And if there was an intentional mistake, you have no more access to the 702 query system and its database. So we've also done an audit of the entire 702 system and the query databases. And now we are nearly 100% of the audit. And I think we found one or two, I'll have to get back to you, quote unquote mistakes within that system, which are currently being reviewed.
Thank you. You had told me in May that you'd send me updated statistics about the Section 702 searches of
Let me guess, he
Americans.
hasn't.
I haven't received it.
Remember, I commented back then that he would not send you them. I told you maybe if they could hear me. If only they could hear me.
I'll work with my team to get that to you, Senator.
He says it again. He's not going to do shit. Stop allowing them to just say, eventually we will do it. Like, put these people, hold them accountable. Holy shit. It's ridiculous.
And frankly, in May...
I'll tell you later.
when
I'll send you something eventually. Oh, okay.
implementing these reforms,
Okay.
You were also closing down the Office of Internal Auditing at the FBI. Now, that was the office created in the first Trump administration to improve the Bureau's compliance with Section 702. How is that working out? How can you continue to advocate for robust civil liberty protections but shut down the office that was created to enforce those safeguards? Help me understand this.
Absolutely, Senator. This is a great example of sort of duplicative work. Both, there was two divisions in the FBI working on this.
telling you why this is a
and all
great
we did
example.
Was the inspection division, which is the leader in this query system and this audit system, has now been given the single source mandate to conduct these. So the OIA, its elimination is just taking folks who were working there and were experts in it and folded in under the inspection division, and then taking other folks that we didn't need because we had enough manpower and pushing them elsewhere in the FBI.
I'm concerned about the rise in threats against members of our judiciary.
don't be
What are you
stuck
doing
again.
with the U.S. Marshal Service to help protect our federal judges and with state and local judicial systems to help provide some of the expertise of the FBI in protecting them as well?
I share your concern, Senator. We have 35 open investigations, 17 against federal judges, and the remainder against state court judges and threats that they have received. And as you know, federally, there's a specific statute which prohibits that. So we are working up those cases and referring them to prosecution where we can meet the threshold for evidence.
In your written testimony, you
Clean it?
referenced
Yeah, I should.
how counter-UAS
I gotta.
legislation expires, and we need to resolve the conflict in jurisdiction and authority. I agree, this is an urgent concern. I have heard from state and local law enforcement
Yeah,
about it,
clean the
from the folks
mini bong,
responsible for
too.
major events, whether it's sports or concerts or public events. Given the tragic increase in political violence, I'm very concerned about the misuse of drones and the potential of there being a catastrophic event. What could we do to address this challenge?
Well, obviously, reauthorizing the capabilities that we have under the Counter-UAS program. But just to highlight what the FBI is specifically doing, we've been given the mandate to work with DHS to secure not just the Club World Cup that we had, by the way, which occurred in 32 matches across the country without any significant incident, which we're proud of, and we're taking that model for the next World Cup and also the Olympics. But the reason I bring that up is because we pushed out our counter-UAS programs to address the security needs, and that's where our focus is on events like that.
Mr. Director, thank you for your testimony. I look forward to working on actually solving criminal problems and reducing the extent to which what we're going back and forth about is.
Yeah, fuck you. That's not going to happen. I mean, I don't even know why we're. Cheers, everybody. Fucked up hell grinders. Yeah, I have not cleaned this one ever, so I probably should. You're right. Trademark cheers, Moodable cheers, Stoner Chick cheers. Jamie cheers. Oubliette cheers. Yeah. Oh man, these are hard to get through. Necro cheers. I don't know how people like do news commentary and things like that sober. That's fucking wild. Couldn't do it, not me. Granted, I can't do anything sober nowadays. Couldn't make a sandwich sober. I'd scream at the bread. I'd scream at the bread. Okay. No. Get some meds. Weed are meds. Weed are meds. Indeed it are. I do have to get my medical card, though. I still have to do that. I'd be paying so much less in tax on this shit. I really got to do that.
Yes, Senator Kennedy.
Mr. Director, you and the FBI, working with state and local law enforcement officials in Utah, have caught the assassin of Mr. Charlie Kirk. Is that right?
We have a suspect, yes, sir.
And you did that within 48 hours, did you not?
33 hours.
33 hours.
What do you mean? This is, first of all, Senator Gravy Train Wheels. Mr. Biscuit Wheels. What a fucking idiot. I don't... Oh, God. like the dad called it, we still wouldn't know who the fuck it was right this moment. We would still have zero clue.
We've had other political assassinations. Back in June, an assassinated Representative Melissa
Oh God, Candace
Hoffman.
Owens just dropped a
Mr.
podcast titled "I Spoke to the Family of Tyler Roth." Oh my fucking God.
Hoffman, Senator John Hoffman, and Mrs. Hoffman in Minnesota.
His dad said nothing. The kid would be at large.
You
Yep.
and the FBI and Minnesota state and local law enforcement officials caught the assassin within 48 hours. Did you not?
I believe that timeline's correct, Senator.
Congratulations. Sometimes we...
Congratulations. Are we not going to talk about the fucking 2 times that he tweeted out that he was confident that they had the guy?
We got him, everybody.
We missed
Never
the
mind.
forest for the trees. Good work.
Never mind.
Did Mr. Kirk's assassin act alone?
As I've said since the beginning, Senator, it is very much an ongoing investigation, and I can't speak to the state charges. That's for the state to address on their own, but we are providing them with the same investigatory findings reporting the department. And as I noted to Senator, I believe it was Cornyn or Hawley, that there are a number of individuals that are currently being investigated and interrogated, and a number yet to be investigated and interrogated specific to that chat room. So we are very much in our ongoing posture.
It is, yeah. Every time Kennedy
So
speaks,
others could have been involved.
it's like a
Yes, sir.
horse.
I asked you this last time you were here. Cash, you remember Mr. Peter Struck and Ms. Lisa Page?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Struck was an FBI agent. Ms. Page was an FBI lawyer. They were both very aggressive anti-Trump political activists who allowed their political opinions to affect their work at the FBI. Is that a fair statement?
I believe their text messages and their testimony that was secured by the OIG and DOJ speak for themselves.
In fact, Mr. Struck and Ms. Page were having an extramarital affair, and at one point, Ms. Page texted Mr. Struck, quote, "Trump's not ever going to be president, right? Right?" And Mr. Struck replied, "No, he won't. We will stop it," end quote.
Dude, why are we
Ms.
talking?
Page
Why are we
resigned from the
talking
FBI.
about this?
Mr. Struck.
Who cares? What is it? We will stop, like the communal we. What is this even? What the fuck is? How is this relevant to what is going on right now?
Struck was fired. They promptly sued the federal government and the FBI and Justice Department for releasing their emails.
Yeah, that's
which
fucked
revealed all
up.
of this. The FBI settled that lawsuit for $1.2 million, gave Mr. Struck $1.2 million cash, gave Ms. Page, who resigned. She wasn't fired, she resigned, she quit.
I would
Gave
also
her
quit after that.
$800,000. Who, if the FBI made that decision to give them money?
That settlement was reached in the Biden administration when my predecessor was the director.
Who? Are you saying
Do you not know who your
Chris
predecessor
Wray
was?
did?
The only people that can decide that settlement are the Attorney General in conjunction with the director and the administration.
Okay, so you're telling me that Attorney General Garland and Director Wray decided to give them the money? Is
Yes,
that
sir.
right?
Yes, sir.
Now, when you took over the FBI, did you find instances of where under the Biden administration the FBI had weaponized the agency to push the political beliefs of President Biden?
Sorry, the last part.
When you took over the FBI, did you
What?
find instances of where the Biden administration had politicized the FBI to prosecute his political agenda?
Oh, God.
Well, I
what a-
won't speak for other people. Haven't been a target of that weaponization, haven't been a staffer on the House Intelligence Committee, having had the Justice Department weaponized against me for making the findings and leading the investigation of Russiagate. I know what that feels like, and that's why, as the FBI director,
He said,
I'm
"Have you
committed to
found
not ever have
anything?"
that ever happen again. But I'm
He said,
also
"Have you
committed to fully
found
investigating
anything?"
what was done.
I
and that
can't
matter is
talk
still
about
ongoing.
active
So I
investigations.
assume, I take it your answer is yes.
Yes, sir.
And you're firing those people, is that right?
Anyone that politicizes their job at the FBI will not work at the FBI.
Okay. You've heard some of my colleagues either implicitly.
He's really
or-
kind of giving two separate
or
answers of the same
otherwise
questions
suggest
to
that
the
you
Republicans
have
and the Democrats.
Politicized the FBI to prosecute the political beliefs of President Trump. Is that true?
I don't know how that can be true.
You
when
just
the
read out the-
stats that I cited to include the
You just read out that
23,000 arrests, 6,000 weapons seized, 1,600 gang and criminal enterprise organizations, 4,700 children found and rescued, more enough fentanyl seized to kill a third of America. The men and women of the FBI are now on an apolitical mission, and this is why the numbers are historic in
Have
7
you
months.
fired people because they voted for Vice President Harris?
I don't ask people who they vote for, and neither does the FBI.
Okay. But you've given people polygraphs, have you not?
Many people in the FBI take polys.
The FBI does that all the time.
Yes, sir.
Does it not?
Yes,
For
sir.
a long time, is that correct?
Decades.
All right. I want to
Yeah.
ask you about the Epstein files. Have you seen the Epstein files?
I have not reviewed the entirety of it myself, but a good amount.
Would it be fair to say that Mr. Epstein trafficked young women, including, in some instances, minors, for sex to himself?
That was specifically the allegations in the 2018 indictment in the Southern District of New York.
What?
Who else did he traffic these young women to?
In terms of what the investigation, again, going back to 2008, Mr. Acosta, who limited the investigation and limited the search warrants and limited the parameters of the investigation, the only thing we are able to speak to publicly, because he was given a non-prosecution agreement by Mr. Acosta, is that first time period from, I believe, don't quote me on this, 97 to 2001-ish. And then when the Trump administration courageously reopened it.
Excuse me for interrupting, but I'm going to run out of time. You've seen most of the files. Who, if anyone, did Epstein traffic these young women to besides himself?
Himself. There is no credible information. None. If there were, I would bring the case yesterday that he trafficked to other individuals. And the information we have, again, is limited.
So the answer is
I know that he's lied in front of Congress many times here. But this is a pretty big lie in front of Congress, especially when we have the fucking email records of Jeffrey Epstein. And we know, based on the email records, that that's not true. We also are about to get releases of bank records. And when we get those, that's going to be big, big. Also, supposedly Marjorie Taylor Greene is supposed to, in front of Congress, read out the list of people who are accused by the victims. Supposedly, no matter whose name is on the list. And also, there are supposedly names of individuals who would be in that room with her while she reads it off. So,
there's no one
for the information that we have
in the files.
In the case file.
Okay. Now, President Trump has deferred to the FBI and the Department of Justice with respect to the Epstein records. He says it is your call about releasing them. And I understand that the department and the agency have decided to release them in cooperation with the House committee. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So you're releasing them a little bit at a time. Is that correct?
We're releasing as much as we can, but we are limited by 3 different court orders, and the department went back to each of those judges to waive those court orders or have them lifted, and each of those judges declined.
Will you release all of them, or at least as many as you can?
We will release everything we are legally permitted to do so. We are continuing to work with the House on the subpoena request. We have substantially complied with it, but we will continue to release whatever we are legally permitted to do so.
Substantially
Okay. I strongly
complied.
encourage you to do.
Substantially complied, which means that he's implying that he believes that they've done enough to comply, but in that has its own implication that there is more that they haven't given, that they're choosing not to because they believe that they have met what they believe is the requirements.
Cash, this issue's not going to go away. And I think the essential question for the American people is this. They know that Epstein trafficked young women for sex to himself.
No, not
They
just
wanna
himself.
know who, if anyone else, he trafficked.
Yeah, no
these young
shit.
women to.
No shit.
And that's a very fair question. I want to know that answer. And I think you're going to have to do more to satisfy the American people's understandable curiosity in that regard.
Mr. Chairman, may I just respond to that? I agree, Senator. And what we have done, and just to remind folks,
oh my God,
the Epstein case files existed in the 2 prior administrations, in the Obama administration and the Biden administration, and they didn't release anything. And there was President Trump in the first administration that renewed charges against Mr. Epstein.
Yes, but they've also been what? There's also been fucking active investigations going on
And
up
I
until
know
like
it's a little
2024.
complicated to understand, but what exists in the Epstein case files was a direct result of the limited search warrants from 2006 and 7, which hamstrung future investigations because of the non-prosecution agreement. And multiple administrations had the opportunity to look at the entirety of that case file and recommend prosecutions against anyone that was trafficked under Mr. Epstein and anyone that participated in that trafficking. And the only person to bring charges was the prior administration against Mr. Epstein. Now, I am not saying that others were not trafficked and others were not involved. What I am telling you is that based on the information we have, and we have continuously and publicly
They only
asked for
gave him
the public
like
to come
state
forward with more
charges.
information. If there is, we'll
And
look at
then
it.
the
But
state
based on
charges
credible
didn't
information,
really
we
go
released
anywhere
all
at
credible
all.
information, and the
Fucking
information that the
ridiculous.
Department of Justice and the FBI never releases is information on investigations that are not credible. And we don't release the names of victims who weren't credible, but in the same time, we don't release the names of victims who were credible. And so that's by law. And so the information we are releasing now is historic, and it is also to the maximum capacity that the law allows. And I know that's not going to satisfy many, many, many people. But if they wanted it done right, then the investigation from its origination should have been done right, and he should not have been given a get-out-of-jail-free card to do jail on the weekends for 12 hours a day, and he should have
Is
been
he trying to
investigated
say, well, it's already happened, so get fucked anyway? I mean, like, who cares? Who cares? It's over. It already happened.
fully for the entirety of
What?
this crime and criminal enterprise, not just from 1997 to 2001.
Senator Blumenthal.
Thank you, Mr. Patel.
Thank you.
I
Mr.
guess
Chairman.
we're just done
Director
speaking about
Patel,
it?
Thank you for being here today. You'll recall well in January at your confirmation hearing before this committee, I raised the prospect of politically motivated retaliation, and you promised me, as you did other members of this committee, quote, every FBI employee will be held to the absolute same standard.
Yeah, and Maxwell's
and
now in
no
like
one will be
minimum
terminated
security
for
doing
case
fucking yoga.
Assignments. You went on to tell me, quote, all FBI employees will be protected against political retribution. And you assured one of my colleagues that you would honor the internal review process of the FBI. I'm not going to mince words. You lied to us. in the short time that you've been FBI director, you've presided over a rash of
He
retaliatory
sure did lie.
firings. 3 FBI agents have recently sued you. They are FBI agents with 60 years between them of distinguished service, rescuing hostages, saving kids from predators, dismantling drug cartels, and their allegations, their civil allegations, are a searing indictment of your tenure as FBI director. But it's not just those 3. The FBI Agents Association has said that your actions, quote, distract agents from their work, foster fear that their assignments could cost them their careers, either now or under the next administration, and increase the risk of criminal and national security threats by undermining unity and morale within the Bureau, end quote. This association, as you know, is voluntary. It represents 14,000 members, 90% of all the active agents. These are your employees.
That's
saying
a lot. That's a lot.
Performance has been unqualified and unfit. And there is mounting evidence that these retaliatory firings were the result of direction from the White House. There have been instances in the past history of the Bureau of political interference and political direction from the director's office, but not the kind of institutional interference that we're seeing from the White House right now. I'm going to ask you, has anyone from the White House contacted you about personnel decisions?
I completely disagree with your entire premise that I've lied or mis.
So yes, just say yes, you fucking twat, man. Just say yes instead of,
I completely disagree with your entire premise.
I completely disagree with your entire premise that I have lied or am misleading the FBI. If I were, the results that I announced today by the men and women of the FBI and the historic records we are doing to keep this country safe would not be possible.
Yeah, right.
Men and women of the FBI are
I
responding
reject
to our
that.
leadership and this administration's
this.
priorities. The only way people get terminated at the FBI is if they fail to meet the muster of the job and their duties, and that is where I will leave it. And you accusing me of lying is something I don't take lightly, but I'm not going to get into a tit for tat with you.
Well, let me just ask you to answer my question. Has
Yeah,
anyone
answer the
from
fucking
the White
question.
House contacted you about personnel decisions?
Generally speaking, we always discuss with the White House, OMB, during the budget process, how many personnel we need, who we need where.
Answer is yes.
Yes.
For budgetary
You've been
purposes
directed
and
to
real
fire people, agents, because they
See
participated
the
in
old guy they
investigations of the
arrested
president.
first for
I don't
Kirk
receive
just got
directions to
arrested.
do that.
Oh my God, really?
Anyone
I make the
suggested it?
decisions.
Has anyone asked you to do it? The best information is yes, you've taken.
I kept hearing that guy was
suggestions
also
and
like
directions
at
from the White House
9/11
in
and a
firing
couple other major events like the
qualified
Boston
agents.
bombing and stuff.
Any
I didn't look
termination
into
at the
anything
FBI
on
was
that, but I heard it a
decision
couple
that I
times.
made based on the evidence that I have as a director of the FBI, and it's my job, and I'm not going to shy away from it. And as you stated, those are allegations, and that is an ongoing litigation. So they'll have their day in court, so will we.
The allegations are not just in that lawsuit, Director Patel, and I think your testimony confirms that, in fact, you've taken direction from the White House.
I don't.
In those
it does not.
retaliatory firings.
It literally does
Because you've
not.
acknowledged that, in fact, they have been in contact with you about personnel decisions.
The
Let me-
White
let me
House
move
has
on.
been, do not put words in my mouth. We're on the record. The White House, like any administration, contacts its agencies on the budgeting process and where it needs personnel and where the mission priorities are. That always happens. If they didn't do that, they would be abdicating the responsibility to law enforcement. I will always work with my partners in the chain of command at the Department of Justice and the White House to ensure that this FBI is delivering the results we are delivering, to include the lowest murder rate in modern U.S. history, to include the most fentanyl seizures in modern U.S. history, to include the most lives saved and the most children found in modern
ask
U.S.
you,
history. That is a working FBI. That is not a failing FBI.
Let's move on to a related area. In White House discussions, have you been asked or directed by the White House or others to engage in a crackdown on political groups or organizations,
more than 20
nonprofits,
images. Oh my God.
after the murder of Charlie Kirk?
To direct at political organizations? No. I've been asked by my chain of command
Y'all
to
keep saying he's
properly
left.
root out criminal activity wherever it is in whatever investigation we are conducting. And that's what we're doing.
Have those distinctions about whom you're going to target been based on direction from the White House?
Nobody gives me a list on who to target. My targeting list is from the men and women at the FBI.
Have you talked about investigating certain groups, nonprofits, or foundations or
For
institutions?
sure.
Whatever those investigations are, they're ongoing, and I'm not going to get into them.
Oh, you
Have
little
you used
shit.
polygraphs to determine loyalty of agents?
No.
Have you
Okay. Can we do these but like with a polygraph on them? When we're getting these questions, I mean, like, why don't we have a polygraph connected to the person answering? I feel like if you're in a government position like that, you should be able to agree to having a polygraph for that.
that
Let everyone
you
just
will
watch
respect
as
the
you're
First
there.
Amendment rights of agents?
I have wildly committed to respecting the First Amendment rights of agents, but at the FBI, you have to balance your First Amendment rights with your mission.
Have you imposed any sort of loyalty test in the course of using polygraphs or in any of the other personnel decisions?
Polygraphs have been utilized at the FBI for decades. They will continue to be utilized in the fashion by the professionals.
He's
that
still not
administer them.
answering the question.
Have you asked under the polygraph test about individuals' loyalty or about their voting records or any kind of past statement?
Just to make it abundantly clear, I don't tell the professionals how to conduct polygraphs or what questions.
So yes. He's like, well, we don't require them to ask that. However,
to ask. They make those decisions.
However.
And I, as the director of the FBI, never ask anyone who they voted for.
See, that's how he's going to try and get away with his lie there. I personally don't ask them who they voted for to fire them. I just fire them after I'm told by the people I told to give the tests to them. I fire them after that.
Have you investigated donors to a political party simply because
I've never
they are
heard donors said like that.
Simply based on that fact alone? No.
Have you investigated donors for another reason?
Many donors may be involved in criminal enterprises and criminal activities, and those individuals will be investigated.
Can you commit to make public the Epstein files that so far have not been released if this committee
We
is
will
able
do
to
whatever
review them
we believe
on
is
a
legally required of
classified
us under the subpoena that was given.
I think this is an important distinction. The Epstein case file is not classified to my understanding. So we are providing what we legally can, and we are going to give Congress what we are legally permitted to do so to the maximum extent of the law.
Will you enable the chairman and the ranking member to review them on a classified basis?
That doesn't make any sense. If the material in the Epstein file is not classified, there is no basis for a
Well, it would
classified
protect
review.
the confidentiality of them if they were able to review them on a classified basis.
If anyone in this room can get the multiple district court judges to lift their court protective orders in the ceilings,
Yeah,
we will
if-
happily provide you with more
His
information.
case file could just be his investigation into.
Are you in
not-
favor of merging the DEA and the ATF?
That's not something for me to comment on.
Well, those agencies work with you, don't they?
With me, not for me.
Are you in favor of orienting the FBI toward a national police function as opposed to the enforcement of federal law?
The FBI does enforce federal law across the country. That's what we do.
But
wasn't the
isn't it a
question.
fact that you have told the leadership of the FBI that you view it as moving toward a local and state police function?
No, we are prioritizing working with our local and state partners, and they will tell you that that has never happened with this much engagement in the history that they have been serving as local law enforcement officers. I believe local cops are the best intelligence source and the best understanding of their communities, and I folded in my FBI agents under that direction to work with them to get the job done.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
For the fourth time today, I want to remind people that my oversight
clear the
has
phlegm,
made
bro.
clear that Director Ray's FBI was politicized. I've released a trove of records to prove it.
It's making me want to clear my throat.
Today, but in past days, I've also said some FBI personnel who have been fired, retaliated against my whistleblowers, and I don't remember my Democratic colleagues defending my whistleblowers when their careers were ruined. Senator Schmidt.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before I get into the thrust of my comments and questions, Director, I want to thank you in our meetings prior to your confirmation.
This
during your
rock is
confirmation, we talked
pissing
about
me off.
your desire to get more agents out into the field, out of Washington, and take on violent crime. And you fulfilled that. St. Louis received the largest permanent per capita infusion of FBI agents anywhere in the country. And I know it's not only an isolated event, but we certainly appreciate your honoring your commitment to do that. And I know there's a lot of
Now that it started, the next person, though. This has been frustrating to watch in general. So we're going to end here for tonight, more than halfway through. There's a lot left in this, so we'll choose to either continue watching this tomorrow or see what we have tomorrow or watch something completely different tomorrow. But that will be for tomorrow to decide. So, good night, everybody. Burbles, good night. Vicious, good night. Jamie, Musical, good night. Stoner Chick, Oubliette. Amy, Ray, good night. Malibu, Necro, Stingray, good night. Moodful, good night. All right, everyone. I got cursed there for a second. Trademark, good night. It was because I had yet to say good night to Trademark. Bobby, you want a drink? Mister? Drink? Come here. All right. Good night, everybody. See you tomorrow.